Hey guys, uh, let me see. All right, let's see how the event kind of gonna go. And can you see my screen? Or okay, I think so you can see it. Okay. Let me. All right, guys, everyone, welcome. And okay, so Tesla Battery Day is happening in 20 minutes. So we're gonna go live and hey, yeah, 550. One thing is IV will crush. Doesn't matter whether you are 550 or 500, IV will go down and you will lose lot value than what you have today. But yeah, let's let's hope let's go guys, let's go. So where we are? So we are at 23. So if you are like 40, 50, and if it moves like $20, which Tesla can go easily, we just need some good news. If you have like really awesome news, we can even go to, I don't know, like if you look at it's hovering around 23, 24, and event will be live here in, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, 10, 20 minutes. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of hang out with you guys, just watch the event together. I was gonna watch anyway, so why not watch with you all? So can you please influence IV? Okay, I'll show you, right? So Sofian, so I'm gonna show you IV crust live here. So yeah, have the popcorn ready. If you drink, have a wine, whiskey, or beer. Can you get me some beer? I'm gonna drink some beer. Okay, 50 in the money. So if you are like, okay, so IV crush, right? Let's say you have like Tesla spread like 270, 280. If Tesla is above 80 by expirations, you are fine. Doesn't matter. Like IV could be 2000 and 10,000. You'll get max profit depending upon where you. It does not matter at all, right? It may show a little bit down tomorrow, and based on that, but it should correct it. If if it expired above your expiration by expiration, you are good. But IV will be mostly again. It affect everyone, but hey, Alicia. Yeah, but thanks, Ronnie. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Alicia. Hey, Maher. Yeah, I did. So let's go. IV. Can you please explain? I'm gonna go explain IV cross before the event. Holding through the. I have a popcorn ready. That's good. Money my spreads are like 50. That's good. I hope you'll have some news that hasn't been leaked and blew our mind. Yeah, it could be like if Papa must give us like really great news, we can literally do really good. I'm already out the money on the spread. Can afford to lose. Don't put all your. That's true. That's don't never put. Where are my DJ? Out the money. Call it Tesla. Bourbon is ready, and I'm ready to watch some IB and hopefully some good news from Musk. Yeah, I'm waiting for some good news too. Hopefully we'll have some good news. And IV effect 410. Okay, 400 410. If Tesla opens 420 above, you should be fine. Should not matter, right? You have both the legs, you are fine. Mostly if you are okay, I'm gonna kind of show you guys, like we have like 15-20 minutes, and everybody, thank you for coming in. And from me, they actually work in though I normally play earnings in the money. Okay, let's get it started. Let's get it started. What's Thanos saying? Okay, not saying anything here, but all right, guys. All right. Tesla opens 500. Yeah, if Tesla opens 500, you are in luck. Like IV, everything's you are fine. No need to worry about. So I'm gonna show example of IV. So I think we still have like 15-20 minutes. So Robinhood, just make it easier. You can browse in. I did not close up. I have few Tesla actually, and but I'm in the money. So this is I have 420. If it's open 420 above, I'm fine. I don't have much, but I also have some others in other accounts too. This was just the Robinhood. This is small, but I do have few. But I do not have a huge like max is like I have 30, 40. That's max I have. So let's see. Tesla is 426. Looks like it's increasing. That's good. So I'm gonna show you IV crush, right? Let's say you have a call. Let's say 450, right? Okay, 450. This IV changes all the time, so it probably like 70 mornings now decrease tomorrow. We don't know what's gonna be tomorrow, but based on tomorrow, whatever. If it's 100, then you lose 66%. So how it works is right now. Again, these are rough estimate, not the exact number. It fluctuates every time, and it's really hard to calculate because your price is changing and everything is changing, right? So this 450 call cost you 1528 today, right? So it's everything open same, like IV remains same and your price remains same and everything remains same. What you're gonna lose $404 tomorrow. So tomorrow, just theta, look at that theta is negative 400. So basically, if Tesla opens exactly same price tomorrow, this option will be what 1100 about, right? I'm just removing this for easy calculation. So let's say take it 1500 minus 4. That's a theta. But everything has to be constant. Like IV has to constant and everything. What is IV cross? IV cross is before the event, IV is really high. For example, it's 165.73. After the event, it will come down dramatically. So let's say tomorrow, let's say I'm just giving example, we don't know, I don't know what's going to be exactly tomorrow, but let's say tomorrow the IV will be, again, if the news is really good and something drastic coming, IV can go up too. Maybe he has a lot of huge announcement and people are more crazy about it, right? So again, it depends, but IB cross usually go down after the event, like anticipation done, people know it. So let's say it goes 100%, right? So you lost 65% volatility. What does that mean? 65%. Each percent you lose, right? Each percent down, you will lose 0.14, right? 0.14. So let's make it 15, right? So if you lose 65%, so all you do is 0.15 times 65. It comes out to be about 9.6. So without even like considering theta and delta and everything, if everything remains same and only IB drops to 65%, you will lose almost 9.6. That means this 1500 gonna be 600, right? 15 minus 9, 6, right? So it will be 600. So you just lost almost 1000 because of the IB. That is IB crash. One thing though, for a spread, it's not bad, but the thing is like you will lose value, right? So if you are like 505 spread, it cause you are losing here, there you are gaining. So one is working for you, one is against. So it's not that bad, but the value of option would be down dramatically. So you will kind of lose. But again, straight call or put option will lose more value. Spread will lose value, not as much as like this. Even if you open like 420, you don't need to worry, it's fine. As long as it's 420 above, you'll be fine. Only things you need to worry is if you go below 410 by expiration. But yeah, can you have it spread a lot more than is made from the okay. So IG, it works similar. What is IG? I don't know what do you mean by IG. I guess you mean IV, but we are kind of post market up, so maybe that's a good thing, man. Maybe we'll be have a great news. So Musk hype this much, so bad news is price can only be good. True, it could be. Thank you. Tesla opens, yeah, it could to Now my question is, if the IV is does it go down to 16, I lose half the value. You don't lose half the value, but I kind of show you, right? For each percent up, you gain the vega. For each percent down, you lose the vega. That's all. Maybe 500. If it hits 500, hard for us to sell our contract since demands will be less. No, no, no. If it hits 500, demand will be more, right? Everybody wanna buy the contract, so it will be good. Yeah, if you have just have a 500 call, that would be. Um, yeah, I mean 500 call will be hard, but if IV is lower, is better, right? Again, there's some volatility, right? It's not better or less. Maybe there's some strategy where you want IV to be lower, some strategy where you want IV to be higher. So there's a lot of strategy. Option doesn't just mean just buy call and sell call. So do you lose the 96 and the 40 from theta? Yes, you do lose the theta too. You do lose. Uh, uh, Again, I guess one of the things I think, if we announce like Tesla to be 25,000 or 30,000 car, I think we can go 5,000. Yeah, positive will be really good. Yeah, it can happen actually, like 20%. And the good thing is, if there's some good news, IB may not drop that much. If that happens, and even if you move like, let's say, 450, 470, you should pretty much make some money. Yeah, it could be, man. Elon been blowing everybody's mind, and he can again do that. So let's see. We have 10 minutes remaining. Let's go. Let's go. Uh, okay, okay. So the event is coming. Do you have contract shares? Anything? I do have some contract, but I'm not really. I don't have lotto play. I have like 400, 410, 420, kind of those mostly spreads. But that's what. Yeah, it will be saved, Peter. It will be saved in my YouTube, so you can watch there. Yeah, stocks are best for this. Have a 490 call. Good luck, Angelica. Well, it depends, right? If it's really blowing, let's say you have like 410, 420, and if Tesla opens like 470, 480, and if it's going up, maybe you can hold it. But if it's for like 500, 520, and Tesla open 450, 460, I may sell. So okay, Jamal, I'll tell you. So basically, I started trading like 9, 10 years ago. I literally started with penny stock. I had no idea about what to do. I was in a college, and I was just following these pennies and no idea about it. And I was just putting randomly, and I was losing. And I remember a guy kind of called me, and he was pumping some stocks, and I was looking at it, and it was kind of going up. But apparently, what he was doing was he was calling everybody and pumping that stock, so it was going up. And kind of that's why I started. I lost money a little bit, then kind of didn't do much anywhere. Then after 2011 or 12, so then I started. I kind of looked up. I studied The Intelligent Investor, one of the best book if you want a long term. So I started that, and I started in looking into good companies like Apple, even Facebook. Facebook went down, and I was doing some crypto trading. I had a lot of Bitcoin at that time. I literally had like a lot, but I sold too early. I was doing a lot of those things. So then I kind of started investing and kind of looking. So I invest more. I play option really less, and also with the option I sell option, right? So the good thing about it, like let's say you are losing money, like a lot of people say I'm losing this, I'm losing that, right? So you are losing, somebody is gaining. So for me, if I'm selling, I'm gaining. Like whatever you are losing, that's coming to me. So you can actually be a seller too. So I'm gonna cover a lot of the selling things, and I'm making some videos and course around it, so I'll let you know when I'm done. But yeah, I think a lot of people are in LAC as well. Mostly I trade breakout though, like for example workhorse. If you saw DKNG, when they break out the top with the some powerful move, and I even traded Tesla breakout. One of the, I have a video, like that was one of my good trade, like 50 60K within few days. And and the other thing is, like, I never go all in, like I never busted my account. I'm kind of conservative in the sense, but I believe in slow and consistent growth than just 100%. I would rather take 20%, 20%, 20% and cut your loose, right? Mostly what I do is I'll have 5 10 trades, and I'm aiming for not much. I'm aiming for 20 30%, right? And I'm trying to get out like maybe 10%, 10 12. So again, it depends, like not exactly what you wish you get, but you get the idea. And what my aim is, just basically win half and lose half. When you do that, let's say you have a 10K account, you're making almost, and I don't look at the week, but I look at a month, and I look at long contracts. So if I do that, you're making with 10,000, you are making almost $1,000 with 10,000 again, almost 1,000. That's a 10% a month. That's almost like 100% a year. That basically you beating like Warren Buffett. And believe me, if you can do that, that's you are one of the best traders. That's what I try to do. That's all right. Yeah, but okay. Let's hope. Okay. Tell us your best and worst ever. Not the most least. One of my best is what my the Tesla. So Tesla, I did when it was in. Uh, Remember when it was just few months ago, right? So when it break out all time high of 1095, 1035. I entered like 1035 or something, and I enter, and I usually used to sold like really quick, but that just kind of moved up really quick, and it was 50 60 the K plus or whatever, but it was a really good trade. And one of the worst trade I would say was Boeing. So Boeing, right? It dropped really quick. So I was selling puts and covered calls in Boeing. It was at 300, then it dropped to like 280, and it dropped to like I was selling calls like 250, hoping like it won't go below 250. It went below, uh, and I think I got out with like 6 or 7K loss or something, or probably more than that. But that was one of the bad trade. So one thing you have to be is like, don't get emotional, right? Again, Tesla is great and everything. So I have utmost respect for Elon Musk, but it doesn't mean like don't have attachment with the stock. It's just the stock, right? So if you see good trade, buy it, else don't. But no, I have other source of income. I do consulting work. Uh, I have some Shopify store, so I do online business. I do trade. I believe in multiple source of income. So the thing is, like, you gotta keep doing. RJ, what's your first name? Rajesh? No, it's Raj. RAJ. Just put A. A is an apple. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Like, I just put RJ. Kind of short, but yeah. What do you think are key labels for today? Okay, so in my short term, like when I'm scalping and everything, I get like 50%, sometimes 80%, sometimes couple 100% too. But those are like smaller, right? I'm not doing huge amount. I'm doing like couple thousand or something. So, but yeah. Hey Angel, thank you. Tesla to 500, yeah. Hope you heard of this stock, real team stock symbol. What are your thoughts on it? Someone told me they pay out monthly because of leasing and commercial building. Yeah, I mean, a lot of REIT. I'm assuming that those are REITs. Kind of they have some complex apartments and kind of give out a monthly dividend. They are good, but be careful. Like a lot of those are crap too. So you need to do more research about it. For option, do I have to break even to make profit, or I can sell before when the gains I see? NYC, TYC, New York City, yes, you can sell it anytime. You do not have to break even. Break even price is just for estimate, and it's just at the expiration. You can sell option anytime you want. Tesla after hours green. Have you guys seen? Yes, I was kind of looking at it, and if you look at Tesla is almost 32. Wow. Maybe Elon Musk has a surprise for us. I mean, I want it like 50. That would be really great. Uh, that would be really nice, but yeah, looks like we are at 30. Wow, good news, guys. I mean, if you hold it and maybe you get better than today, that's good. 432. I just hope he announced something amazing, as he always does. So spike our hope. It's just up. Yeah, we need a big move, but if he announce something, hey Angel, everything's like, even these days, like sometimes what I'm doing, I'm trying to sell it and I accidentally buy it more. I have two. Sometimes it just work, it just go up. Okay, I make more money, but it happens. To Mars we go. Yeah, again, Mars we go. Elon we believe. All right, if you guys are new and if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe. I make a lot of videos about trading, like a lot of things, like pretty much if you have any question about anything, I will make those videos. So yeah, it's about to go down. Man, Elon is late to the party or what? He has not started. I'm gonna refresh it, just making sure it's not my okay. All right, battery day is here. Let's do. Man, look at that. Look at that beauty. Elon has something good for us, guys. Yeah, it just started. Look at those robots. Yeah, Elon can surprise us, right? He was kind of shaking, like if you short it, and maybe today he announced something really big. And yeah, thank you, Angel. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm gonna work on voice. So I don't think it has a voice. They have not started voice, so there's no voice. Let me let me try in my other screen, like if there's literally voice or not, but there's no voice, looks like. So actually I just did butterfly and SPY, so I'm gonna make more. Yeah, there's no volume yet, but look at that. Tesla is beauty, man. Maybe Elon will surprise and everybody give us maybe a lot of money. All right. Yeah, there's no voice for the event. Yeah, there's no sound. So I'm kind of checking if it's just me or something. Let me confirm if it's not my. So there's no sound yet. I just verified in other one. Yeah, there's no sound. So there is no sound. So that's why it's not me. Yeah, it's all good, guys. So if there's a sound, it will have a sound. All right. If you bought a vertical debit share 410 call, total profit is yeah. If you got four, yeah. If the contracts were in the money with the stock, do you get full credit or do you need to hit four? No. If it's 410, if it's above 410, you get the max profit. But one thing though, if you are in Robinhood, they will close out if it's around 410. But you should get the max profit. Yeah, I know, man. Like Tesla is amazing. Like I love Tesla. I mean, Elon is such a look at that those truck. Like look at those car, man. I think Elon is shooting for something big. Elon is doing what Elon does. Maybe he's just surprising. Like remember, like he kind of sold the shorts for for. I mean, what was the price? 69.420 or yeah, 69.420. I mean, his surprises like today maybe his plan was like everybody sell and announce something really big. If he announced like 25-30,000 car, I think that would like literally we go 500 and maybe 550 too. Look at that beauty, guys. Look at that. Yeah, it is amazing, guys. Really? Actually, butterfly, I would suggest like going maybe few days, few weeks out. All right, it's coming. Yeah, Ahmad. I think yeah, 25K car. That means basically they can compete with any of the crap car. So basically, people if somebody is looking for new car and they have a Tesla for 25K, I mean, why not get a Tesla? Why to get something else, right? Right now, it's still around 40-45, so not on the cheaper side, but I think that would be huge. Good one, Sarah. Because yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Tesla is surprising. Let's look at the price. Like maybe he's shaking out. That was everything. Elon plans everything. It's 429, guys. So we are up, pretty much up from 424. Let's hope we keep it. Let's see where we really. Well, it's kind of gone. So yeah, my volume is up. Okay, he's surprising everyone. Even my volume is up. 600 will be really hard. Let's focus on 500 maybe. But yeah, 600. uh, okay, I totally agree. Hey, how long is the meeting? I think it's probably an can you please make a video on how to find out the profit on debit spread? A lot of us don't know when to sell. I do made a video on when to buy and when to sell. I will make a video on how to find out profit on debit spread. I will make that. Himansu, we'll see. Yeah, I know everybody. It's killing everyone. I know. Sorry about that buzzing sounds. Somehow it's. I'll try to fix it. I don't know what's going on, but 725. That would be epic. All right, guys. Let's do. So I'm having. Yeah, let's hope. I'm not shaving. 1,025. Okay, okay. Yeah, I do have an accent. Yeah, I know. I'll be happy for four. I mean, if it reaches 500. Cause the event has not started yet. That's why. I mean, they're supposed to start it now, but okay. Buzzing is gone. That's good. I know. Let's do. Okay, let me see. Like, okay, it's live. It just yeah, they have not even started. So let's look at the price. We are at 429. All right, guys. All right. Let's get it started. Also, if you have not subscribed, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's do it. Let's make it. All right. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, I'll send you my Venmo. Tesla may hit 500. I may make 500 from you. Yeah, don't put entire portfolio, guys. Yeah, Elon surprises. So I don't know. Maybe he's in a flying car or something. Maybe Tesla is at 430. Yeah, it did touch 430, but yeah, please do that. If you have not, like and subscribe. Let's make it. I don't know uh, where I'm at. Yeah, I'm at 1700. Let's make it 1800 today with Tesla event. Let's do it. Okay, let's see. Where are we with the event? Okay, he's still like, I don't know. They're making some slides or something. Maybe they're bringing flying car. We don't know. Let's get. You guys having a popcorn? I should open my some wine or whiskey. I don't know. I'll get some whiskey. Yeah, many exciting could be. All right, thank you guys. If you guys subscribe, thank you very much. If you are trading or anything, like I make a lot of videos, do watch those. And if you have any question, let me know. I hear something. Yeah, Papa Musk is talking. I did hear, but he was like, all right, Musk is in the stage, guys. What? Is he not talking?
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Tesla's 2020 annual meeting of stockholders. We're really excited that you could be here with us today.
Yeah.
My name is Al Prescott. I'm Tesla's Vice President of Legal. There'll be two parts of today's meeting. First, the formal part of the meeting will get out of the way, which will cover the 7 items that stockholders have been asked to vote on. After the voting, I'll introduce Tesla's co-founder and CEO, Elon Musk, who'll give a presentation about the company update and year in review. And then following the conclusion of the stockholder meeting, we'll start our separate Battery Day event. At this time, I'd like to thank the members of the Tesla team and our board, especially those who were able to make it out here in person today, as well as to our representative from PricewaterhouseCoopers, Tesla's independent auditor, who's also here. But before we begin, I'd like to introduce you to Robin Denholm, the chairwoman of Tesla, who would like to say a few words remotely.
Okay, I will. So I'm gonna refresh just cause everybody says.
Welcome to the many Tesla shareholders that have joined us today in person as well as online from across the country and around the globe. I wanted to start today's proceedings by thanking you, our shareholders, for your tremendous support over the last year, and especially to those of you who have been with us through our journey over the past 10 years since the company's IPO in 2010. While we have stayed true to our mission of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy, in many ways, our company has evolved beyond recognition over the past decade, and that is a great thing. In fact, the pace of developments and the evolution of Tesla has further accelerated over the past 15 months since I last addressed you in June of 2019. You'll hear more about many of the specific achievements from Elon later in the agenda, but I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of our Tesla employees across the globe who have done a tremendous job of executing and staying focused on delivering for our customers and shareholders as the world has gone through one of the most challenging periods in our lifetimes. As a board, we have always taken a long-term view. We've made decisions and supported decisions made by the management team that may not have seemed obvious at the time, but are delivering and will continue to deliver breakthrough results. But it's also important to remember why we do this. As a company, we are focused on addressing one of the biggest environmental challenges of our generation: how to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. The last year in particular has seen a tremendous increase in momentum in the movement to sustainable energy from both shareholders and the general public. So in addition to developing amazing clean transportation and energy products, we are doing our part by contributing the right facts and information to this important issue. And we released an extended version of our impact report in April of 2020. In this year's version, we have covered in great detail many areas that are important to our shareholders and our customers alike, such as our environmental impact, greenhouse and other noxious gas elimination, our supply chain efforts, especially in cobalt, and our culture and people focus. We hope that by continuing to put this data out there, we will underscore to the world the importance and impact that we are having as a company. Lastly, continuous feedback and input from our shareholders is essential for us to do our jobs, and I would like to thank you for your support in this regard. Many of you have provided me and the team with ideas and insights that we as a board take into consideration as we evolve our governance and company practices. It's especially crucial to the board members as we pride ourselves in adaptability and the diversity of thought and experience that we collectively represent on the board. This brings me to my final two things today. As today is his last shareholder meeting, on behalf of the board, I would like to sincerely thank Steve Jurvetson for over a decade of service to Tesla, the board, and our shareholders. You will be missed. Finally, I would like to introduce to you our newest member of the board, Hiro Mizuno, who until recently led the largest pension fund in the world. He brings a wealth of experience to the board, but let me hand over to Hiro to say a few words. Hiro.
Thank you, Robin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tesla Annual Shareholders Meeting. It is my real pleasure to virtually meet you, Tesla shareholders.
We are
people who believe
guys.
in Tesla's mission
They're
and its
addressing us.
growth opportunities. I spent all my career in finance and asset management in Tokyo,
Click
New
that
York,
like button and
London,
subscribe
and
if you have
Silicon
not.
Valley. Until recently, I was a chief investment officer of GPIF, $1.5 trillion Japanese public pension fund. And one of my priorities as an investment chief was to promote responsible investments, which aim to make financial returns while pursuing ESG agenda, such as environment and social issues. I believe in the market where ESG is becoming mainstream, purpose or mission-driven businesses will gain long-term investors' support. This is why I was interested in Tesla, where mission is to accelerate the world transition to sustainable energy. I'm very excited to join the Tesla team on that journey and hope to assist Tesla deliver what investors expect by further enhancing its environmental and social impact. Once again, Tesla shareholders, thanks for your support. I'm looking forward to seeing you in person next year. Thank you.
All right, guys, that was a
Thanks, Robin and Hiro. I will now call the meeting to order. Please refer to the meeting agenda that has been provided to you and posted also to our virtual meeting site. The time is now 1:49 p.m. Pacific time, and I declare that the polls are now open. We've already received voting proxies from stockholders over the past few weeks, meaning that almost all of the votes that will be counted were already submitted before the meeting. However, if you wish to vote now or to change your prior vote, you may do so through the virtual meeting site. For those that are here in person today, ballots and ballot boxes were available to you at check-in. Tesla's board of directors has appointed Computershare Trust Company to serve as inspector of elections for the meeting. Computershare has taken and signed an oath as inspector of election and has certified that starting on August 13th, 2020, the proxy material or a notice of internet availability of the proxy material were mailed or provided to all Tesla stockholders of record as of July 31, 2020. We have a majority of the outstanding shares represented at the meeting. So I declare that there is now a quorum present and that we may proceed with the meeting. The items on the agenda are as follows. The election of 3 Class 1 directors, Elon Musk, Robin Denholm, and Hiromichi Mizuno, to each serve for a term of 3 years. 2, to approve Tesla's executive compensation on an advisory basis. And 3, to ratify the appointment of PricewaterhouseCoopers, LLP, as Tesla's independent registered public accounting firm for the fiscal year of 2020. Tesla's board has recommended that our stockholders vote for each of the director nominees and for each of those proposals. In addition, we have also received 4 stockholder proposals, as described in the proxy statement. I would like to remind our stockholders that Tesla's board has prepared a statement in opposition to each of these proposals, which appear in the proxy. The first stockholder proposal is an advisory vote regarding paid advertising. Our board has recommended that our stockholders vote against this stockholder proposal. This stockholder proposal comes to us from James Danforth. However, Mr. Danforth has notified us that neither he nor his representative will be presenting the proposal at the meeting today. So we will continue. The second stockholder proposal is an advisory vote regarding simple majority voting in our governing documents. Our board has recommended that our stockholders vote against this stockholder proposal. The proposal comes from James McRitchie, who is on the line to present the proposal today. Mr. McRitchie, I would like to invite you now to present. You'll have 3 minutes.
All right, there's a lot of Tesla.
I'd like to thank the board for holding such an innovative hybrid meeting during these difficult times. Proposal number 5 basically asks for a majority voting standard to amend bylaws. I first introduced a proposal on this subject at the 2014 Tesla meeting. Supermajority provisions are generally used to entrench incumbent directors and managers. Academic research finds that reducing such devices is associated with higher returns. The board's opposition statement argues they tried to adopt a majority standard last year, but shareholders rejected it. However, 99.6% of shares voted for the proposal. Only 0.4% voted against it. The problem was that a little more than 35% of shares went unvoted. The vast majority of retail shareholders often don't bother to vote. Since only 65% of shares were voted, we didn't achieve the 66.67% necessary
March
to
would be
overturn
nice.
the current supermajority bylaw. It appears the proposal failed primarily for three reasons. One, the board put forth less than robust arguments in
Yeah,
favor.
looks like they are
Two,
in
they
Tesla
added
actually.
confusion with another proposal to reclassify the board not
Pretty
into
cool.
a single class, that's the norm, but into two classes, elected in alternating years. Third, the board also failed to make a substantial effort to solicit votes in favor. Also, please consider this proposal in context with other poor corporate governance provisions at Tesla. First, shareholders can only remove directors for cause. What that basically means is the director has to be caught in criminal activity for shareholders to remove them. Second, because the board is divided into three classes, shareholders can only hold individual directors accountable every 3 years. And third, shareholders cannot call special meetings nor can act by written consent. I hope you will agree. Corporations should not be democratic free zones. Vote for proposal number 5 so that 33% of shares cannot overrule the wishes of 67%. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McRitchie. We'll now move on to our third stockholder proposal, which is an advisory vote regarding reporting on employee arbitrations. Our board has recommended that our stockholders vote against this stockholder proposal. This proposal comes from NIA Impact Capital, whose representative, Kelly Hall, is on the line to present the proposal today. Ms. Hall, I'd like to invite you to go ahead and present. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Dr. Kristen Hull, and I'm the founder and CEO of NIA Impact Capital. I formally move Proposal 6. This resolution requests that Tesla's Board of Directors oversee the preparation of a report on the impact of the use of mandatory arbitration on Tesla's employees and on its workplace culture. The report will evaluate the association of Tesla's current use of arbitration with the prevalence of both harassment and discrimination in its workplace, and on employees' ability to seek redress should harassment or discrimination occur. This proposal speaks to the widespread experience of discrimination in the workplace by Black, Latinx, and female employees, despite this discrimination being unlawful under the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Tesla has faced a number of serious allegations of racism and sexism at its Buffalo and Fremont plants. Companies that allow bias, discrimination, and harassment in their workplaces are at risk for unnecessary legal, brand, financial, and human capital issues. Support for this resolution is warranted for the following 5 reasons. 1. Research shows that companies benefit from diverse and inclusive workplaces. 2. Corporate policies that allow harassment and discrimination risk investors' capital. 3. The use of arbitration exposes investors to an unknown level of risk. 4. Broad concerns exist with respect to fair treatment in Tesla workplace, and Tesla employees have alleged harassment and discrimination on the basis of both race and gender. Tesla, a company investors love for its innovation, leadership, and wise moat, is increasingly lagging behind its peers in its disclosure related to workplace diversity, equity, and inclusion. Unlike the forward-thinking and innovation in its extraordinary product line, Tesla has not shown proactive leadership in building a positive company culture or in addressing concerns about its workplace practices. In these material issues, Tesla lags behind its technology and automotive competitors. The use of arbitration limits employees' remedies for wrongdoing, precludes employees from suing in court, and often keeps underlying facts, misconduct, or case outcomes secret, therefore preventing employees from learning
these are
about
usually
and
bad,
acting
like,
on
I don't
shared
know.
concerns.
She's just talking crap.
Simply stated, arbitration allows bad corporate behavior, like bias, harassment, and discrimination to continue, hidden from employees and investors.
Yeah, I think
To
they
maintain
have the
Tesla's
shareholder
right
thing, but
it is essential that the board
it should finish pretty
seriously
quick.
assess the implications of the use of arbitration, and that Tesla begin to take seriously the need
Elon
to
will
ensure
announce something
a fair,
great.
equitable, positive, and inclusive workplace. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Our fourth and final proposal is an advisory vote regarding reporting on human rights. Our board has recommended that stockholders vote against this proposal. This proposal comes to us from the Sisters of Good Shepherd, New York Province, whose representative, Terrence Collingsworth, is on the line to present today. Mr. Collingsworth, I would like to invite you to speak now. You have 3 minutes for your proposal.
Thank you. I'm Terry Collingsworth, Executive Director of the International Rights Advocates. I'm here representing the Sisters of Good Shepherd, New York Province, to present item 7 on human rights disclosure, which calls upon Tesla to issue a report to describe board oversight of human rights and its human rights due diligence process, including systems to provide meaningful remedies when human rights impacts occur. Tesla faces serious human rights issues, and failure to establish a culture of respect for human rights will expose Tesla to new liability issues and significant reputational injury, all of which will have a material impact on the company and its shareholders. The need to set a new course for human rights compliance at Tesla is glaring. Here are 5 examples of human rights violations occurring now in Tesla's operations. Racism, sexual harassment, and disregard for human safety and dignity harm workers at the Gigafactory 2 in Buffalo, New York every single day, and those workers urge you to remember their experiences in your vote. Tesla has experienced serious labor relations issues at its production facilities and is actively discouraging union organizing. Workers are being exposed to COVID-19 and then are facing retaliation when they ask for greater protections. There are numerous worker health and safety violations as well as wage and hour issues. And finally, there are serious, even deadly human rights violations occurring in Tesla's global supply chains. On this last issue, my organization brought the pending suit against Tesla for using cobalt mined in the Democratic Republic of Congo by young children. I personally met young boys who lost limbs or were paralyzed in cobalt tunnel collapses. Tesla sources cobalt from these very mines, and its claim to have, quote, zero tolerance for child labor in its supplier code of conduct is simply not true. Tesla is not only tolerating child labor in its cobalt supply chain, it is tolerating the death and maiming of young child miners. This demonstrates why the company must circle back and begin a process to report on its treatment of human rights issues as requested in this proposal. I think consumers will have zero tolerance for a company that is exposed as being indifferent to killing and maiming child miners. We are hopeful that Tesla's innovative spirit can be brought to bear on making human rights a priority at the company. For example, if Elon Musk cared about implementing a zero-tolerance child labor policy, instead of having a useless paper policy, Tesla could employ satellites or drones at every mine it sources from to actually monitor child labor. I encourage all Tesla shareholders to vote for Item 7, Human Rights Disclosure. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Collingsworth. At this time, I'd like to thank our stockholders for all of their active participation in today's meeting and for those who just presented on the line. I'd also like to read some of the comments that have been submitted by you over the course of the meeting. The first comment comes from Michael Overbaugh. I take great pride in the fact that we haven't had to stoop to the level of what advertising represents to get where we are today. I'd hate to give in to that kind of temptation now
Musk.
when we're so close to becoming a household name that's based solely on our merit alone. But if assets do end up having to be set aside for marketing, I'd like to suggest that rather than shoving ads down the customers' throats, we establish some sort of hardcore nationwide campaign and event with the goal of getting as many people as possible behind the wheel of a Tesla for an introduction drive. It's well known how far just doing that alone goes to converting people into fans.
Yeah, Gary, like I think
A line I recently ran across says,
new battery chemistry.
you can talk all about the specs as much as you want, but when it comes to buying a car, what ultimately puts butts in seats is the feeling that the vehicle gives you. By demonstrating that Tesla clearly has both the specs and the feeling, what more needs saying? Our second comment comes from the United Steelworkers on behalf of the Clean Air Now Coalition of Western New York by Sabrina Liu. Proposal, and it reads as follows. Proposals 6 and 7, up for vote this year, are the results of widespread concern about mistreatment of Tesla workers at U.S. factories and across the supply chain. It is clear that Tesla is not interested in addressing the harm they have caused to their workers, as their board is advising shareholders to vote against the proposal. We're urging all shareholders to vote in favor of Proposals 6 and 7. And on behalf of our workers at the United Steelworkers here in Western New York, and for Tesla employees across the country and across the global supply chain, while this doesn't repair the harm that's already been caused to countless employees, nor repair harm to children and communities forced into slave labor in the DRC, they represent steps towards a more just workplace at Tesla. This concludes all of the comments. Thank you all for your participation in the comments. We'll now have a final opportunity for any of you to submit proxies in order for them to be counted. So I'll pause and wait for a moment for you to do that.
Yeah, I think they do have a talk about using the new formula. So maybe like he may announce all this, like whatever these guys saying, like, you know, that's, I heard like they're going to use
okay.
iron something.
I declare that the polls are now closed. So based on the proxies that we have previously received, I'd like to announce on a preliminary basis that our stockholders have approved the recommendations of Tesla's board on all agenda items, other than the stockholder proposal for an advisory vote regarding simple majority voting in our governing documents.
I know, totally agree, trader.
After the final tabulation is completed, we'll formally announce the results of the voting by filing a Form 8K with the SEC within 4 business days of today. This now concludes the official business of Tesla's 2020 annual stockholders meeting,
Looks
which
like
is
it's
now
done.
adjourned.
All right, battery day
Next,
starts.
we will have a company update and a year in review presented by Elon, and then we will start our Battery Day event. During the course of those following sessions, we may discuss our business outlook and make forward-looking statements. Such statements are predictions based on our current expectations. Actual events or results could materially differ due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those disclosed in our most recent 10-Q filed with the SEC. These forward-looking statements represent our views as of today. They shouldn't be relied on after today, and we disclaim any obligation to update them after today as well. We will now continue with the company update and year in review, and it's my pleasure to introduce Tesla co-founder and CEO, Mr. Elon Musk.
Yay! All right, guys. Oh man, that's what an entry.
Hey everyone.
That's nice.
Well, I mean, this is definitely a new approach. We got the Tesla drive-in movie theater, basically. It's good to see everyone. It's
cool.
a little hard to read the room with everyone being in cars, but it's it's the only way we could do it. So hopefully it's cool, and hopefully you can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Okay. All right, great.
That's pretty
well,
cool.
Thanks for coming. I think it's been an incredible year, and I'd like to thank you for your support. through tough times, good times. It's been great. Really appreciate everyone who's put their hard-earned money into Tesla, and I think it's worked out pretty well. This has been a good year, and I think there's many good years to come. So I'll go through the sort of the shareholder presentation, I think, fairly quickly, because the sort of real main event here is Battery Day. So, really, I'm just going through a recap of what's happened over the past year or so. I think starting from in terms of our ability to create a factory, huge kudos to the Tesla Shanghai team for being able to go from literally a dirt pile to volume production
John,
in 15 months. It's like, damn. Yeah.
Look at that. That's good.
So, and I think something that's really quite noteworthy here is Tesla is the only foreign manufacturer to have a 100% owned factory in China. So this is often not well understood or not appreciated, but to have the only 100% owned foreign factory in China is a really big deal, and it's paying huge dividends here. So we really wouldn't have the results that we have had this year without the great efforts of the Tesla China team. So I'm super appreciative of that. And we'll see the Shanghai factory continue to scale quite a bit from where it is right now. I think we really could expect that to be, over time, a factory that produces over 1 million vehicles a year. Yeah, it's cool. So let's see. So we also reached in the past year volume production of the Model Y, and this was the smoothest launch that we've ever had. So I think we're definitely getting better at new vehicle launches and building factories and scaling production. As you've heard me say before, it's the hardest thing is scaling production, especially of a new technology. It's insanely difficult. Making a prototype is relatively easy, and if I think like what is the real achievement of Tesla in sort of car company terms, it's like it wasn't making sort of exciting prototypes. It was that Tesla was really the first company in about a century in the U.S., the first U.S. company in the U.S. to reach volume production and be sustainably profitable. Like the crazy thing is this has really not happened in 100 years. That's the actual super hard part. And we now have 4 vehicles in volume production, S3, XY.
Tesla dividend would be
so
nice, but
also the toughest joke I think maybe ever. It was a very difficult joke to make. So we also introduced the lowest cost solar in the U.S. It's only $1.49 a watt, and we really just simplified the whole value chain. So reduced sales and advertising, got rid of a bunch of unnecessary costs, and really are just relying upon the fact that it's just the lowest cost, most efficient solar in the U.S. Providing both retrofit and the solar glass roof, which I think is a really great product, a hard product to make work, but it will be a major product line in the future. And we also got 4 consecutive quarters of GAAP profitability, which was very difficult. Yeah. So, and certainly a testament to the hard work of people at Tesla. I mean, to do this in extremely difficult times against a wide range of adverse circumstances was insanely hard, but we got it done. So, and I think the future is looking like I think very promising from sort of an annual profitability standpoint. So, in order to achieve, in order to sort of do well financially, you really need economies of scale, and you need ideally the best technology. And I think we had the best technology for a while, but now we are also achieving economies of scale. So, and we're also rapidly improving autonomy, which is a massive value add to each car. So, I think the value of Tesla is going to be like total, just on the vehicle side, total vehicles produced times the value of autonomy. That's a way to think about the future value of Tesla. We also have consistent free cash flow generation. This is really important for growth. A key element here is tightening up the time from when a car is ordered to when it is built and delivered. So for a company that's growing rapidly, it's extremely important to tighten the supply chain and to have, from when parts arrive, put it into a car very quickly and deliver the car very quickly to the customer. And if you can do that inside the sort of your kind of payables timeline, then the faster you grow, the more cash you have. Or conversely, if you're unable to do it within your payables timeline, the faster you grow, the less money you will have, which is obviously bad. It's for a capital-intensive situation. So just tightening up and having the parts move very quickly to the factory, put it in a car, get it to a customer, makes a massive difference to cash flow generation. And I mean, that's why it's extremely important to have a factory in each continent. Because if you don't at least have a factory in the continent, it is impossible to achieve this. So having a factory in China that's able to serve China, and then soon many other countries in the region, will be key to us tightening that total sort of chain of cash flow and getting it, essentially, the faster we grow, the more cash. This is really important. That's also why it's important to have Giga Berlin complete, because then we'll have a factory in China, factory in the U.S., and soon a second factory in the U.S. in Austin, and a factory in Europe. And I mean, even for Giga Texas in Austin, even if we had exactly the same costs as in California, it would still be advantageous to do it there because it's roughly 2/3 of the way across the U.S. So in terms of delivering cars to the central U.S. and to the East Coast, it's just faster, costs less, and it fundamentally improves our economics. So I think this is also maybe something that's not fully appreciated of just how important it is to have a factory at least on the continent or reasonably close to where the end customers is, so you can tighten that whole chain. Industry performance. While the rest of industry has gone down, Tesla has gone up. I think this speaks to thanks. And so I'd like to thank all the customers for taking a chance on Tesla and buying our product, and really hope you're enjoying it. This is really, our sales, as Al was saying, really grow by word of mouth. So this is really, I think, a very pure, it's very pure in the sense that it's like, it's growing on the basis of existing owners recommending it to new customers. This is really, I think, a good way to grow. And then in 2019 we had 50% growth, and I think we'll do really pretty well in 2020. Probably somewhere between 30 to 40% growth, despite a lot of very difficult circumstances. I mean, there's so many, pandemic, wildfires. It's like a whole bunch of difficult production issues. But thanks to the hard work of the Tesla team and a lot of innovative approaches to overcoming issues, we're able to still see significant growth in one of the most difficult, in fact, I'd say probably the most difficult year of Tesla's existence. So, and we also published our extended impact report. At Tesla, we try very hard to do the right thing. If the right thing does not happen, it's just because we maybe made a mistake or weren't aware of it. But we always try to do the right thing as to the best of our ability. And then we published the extended impact report to show, just a sort of a self-examination of, okay, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What can we do better in the future? We're definitely trying to accomplish the most good. And so, if we occasionally make a mistake, we work quickly to fix it and do the right thing. So, it's worth looking at like the average life cycle emissions in the U.S. And just how much better a Tesla is or an electric car than any other than any kind of gasoline car. And what we'll talk about in the battery day is also just how much the the grids around the world, and actually, especially in the U.S., are greening. It's actually much faster than I think people realize. The U.S. is moving towards sustainable energy. And so as we move more and more to sustainable energy, then effectively you end up building the solar factories and the car factories themselves with solar. Over time you do, or with sustainable energy. Over time you'll even mine with sustainable energy, and eventually it will get to an effective emissions of 0. So that's where things will end up. Yeah. So we also have safety at the core of our design. The Tesla cars are the safest cars ever designed. We have the lowest probability of injury of any cars ever tested by the U.S. government, and that's just passive safety. When you add active safety into that, it's even better. It's really, if safety is important to you, which obviously it is, the safest car you could drive is a Tesla. So, I think some people aren't aware of this, but it's really, safety is paramount. It is actually the #1 design objective when we build a Tesla is safety.
Oh, he's like crazy smart.
Our factories are also becoming safer, and if you look at the sort of accidents per total vehicle made, it's dramatically better than in the past, and it's already better than industry average, and we're confident we can get it to the best in the auto industry. Autopilot functionality continues to improve, and you can see it in the safety report that we publish every quarter. It's just getting better and better. The U.S. average for collisions is at roughly 2.1 per million miles, and with autopilot engaged, it's 0.3. I mean, this is a profound difference. It really massive, and this will get even better. So. We're confident that over time we can get the probability of an accident, especially the probability of injury, to 10 times better than the industry average, like an order of magnitude better. So that's just a lot of lives saved and a lot of injuries avoided. So that's a huge priority for us. On the autopilot front. I think it's kind of hard for people to judge the progress of autopilot. Like I'm driving. As a matter of course, I've always done this. I drive the bleeding edge alpha build of autopilot, and so I sort of have insight into what is going on. Previously, about a couple of years ago, we were kind of stuck in a local maximum. So we were improving, but like the improvements kind of started tailing off and just not getting where they needed to be. I call this sort of getting trapped in a local maximum. And so we had to do a fundamental rewrite of the entire autopilot software stack and all of the labeling software as well. So we're now labeling in 3D video. So this is hugely different from previously where we were labeling essentially a bunch of single images from the 8 cameras, and they would be labeled at different times by different people. And some of the labels, you literally can't tell what it is you're labeling. So it basically made it sort of in some cases impossible to label, and the labels had a lot of errors. Now, with our new labeling tools, we label it in video. So we actually label entire video segments, and the system. So you get basically a surround video thing to label, and with the surround video and with time. So it's now taking all cameras simultaneously, and looking at how the images change over time and labeling that, and then the sophistication of the neural nets in the car and the overall logic in the car has improved dramatically. I think we'll hopefully release a private beta of Autopilot, or the full self-driving version of Autopilot, in I think a month or so, and then people will really understand just the magnitude of the change. It's profound. So yeah. Anyway, so you'll see it's just like a hell of a step change. But because we had to rewrite everything, labeling software, the entire code base, it took us quite a while And the sort of new sort of, I call it like 4D in the sense that it's 3 dimensions plus time. It's just taken us a while to rewrite everything, and so you'll see what it's like. It's amazing. Yeah, it's clearly going to work.
It's clearly gonna work.
Tesla core competencies. We've got engineering, obviously. But also manufacturing. I think manufacturing is underappreciated in general, and the difficulty of designing the machine that makes the machine is vastly harder than the machine itself. So, the designing, like making a Model 3 or Model Y or a Cybertruck prototype is really quite trivial compared to designing the factory that makes it. Especially if it's new technology and you want to use new manufacturing methods, it's just at least 10 to 100 times harder to do the factory than the prototype. And that's why you see a lot of companies out there or startups, they'll bring out a prototype, but they just can't get it over the hump for manufacturing, because manufacturing of new technology especially is the hardest thing by far. Like basically the prototype is at best 10% of the difficulty and probably closer to 1%. And then software. Tesla is both a hardware and a software company. So a huge percentage of our engineers are actually software engineers. And you can think of our car as kind of like a laptop on wheels. And so software is incredibly important. And so not just in the car, but also in the factory. So the factory software is extremely important. Just software in general. These are fundamental. These are the 3 critical areas that are needed to make for an awesome company. So, yeah. So we have now we'll soon have 3 new factories, incremental, on. Well, we have one already on 3 different continents. Shanghai. We're expanding the Shanghai with the second phase. Berlin is making rapid progress, and Texas is making even faster progress. So, yeah. With each factory, what we're trying to do is also improve the manufacturing technology. So, it's in some cases like the Model Y made in Berlin might look the same, but it actually is made in a much more efficient way. And yeah, we'll talk about that later in the battery presentation. Yeah, we launched Megapack. It's a 3 megawatt hours all-in-one energy storage solution. So it's been great overall. Yeah. All right, and I think that's basically it. Right.
All right, guys. Now
all right, thank you.
It's a battery day time, guys. Now I think everybody is kind of excited.
Well, thanks everyone for coming, and we'll be back in a little bit to go through the battery stuff. And there's a little bit more, in addition to the battery stuff, we got a few extras as well. So I think you'll really like what we have to say on batteries. The battery stuff we're going to talk about is truly revolutionary and essential to Tesla's goal. The fundamental good of Tesla. It's like if you look back in history and say what good did Tesla do? The good will be to by how many years did we accelerate sustainable energy? That's like the true metric of success. It matters if sustainable energy happens faster or slower, and so that's really like how I think about Tesla and how we should sort of assess our progress. By how many years did we accelerate sustainable energy? And what we're going to talk about with batteries and a few other things will really explain how we're going to make a step change improvement in the acceleration of sustainable energy. Thank you.
All right, guys. Yeah.
Hi, folks. That was great. We're going to take a short break before we begin the Battery Day event. So stay tuned. If you're local and here in the audience today, you can feel free to get out of the cars and stretch your legs. But try to stay near the cars because we're going to begin promptly in a little bit. See you soon.
All right, looks like now battery day gonna happen in like few minutes, and yeah, we can chat, we can talk. And seems like it's look at these people, like everybody is like, oh, they're going to get the popcorn, huh? Also, if you have not, please do like and subscribe. Let's make it 1800 today with the Tesla price is going up. Like if you look at the stock price, uh, it was after hour was what, yeah, it's kind of down up, but again we're still up 430. I think it did hit like 435, so maybe battery day will push it to something revolutionary, he said. So let's see how that goes. But yeah, nothing is announced. He said something revolutionary, so let's see what is. Maybe they are making their own battery or something. Yeah, I think everybody need price to rocket, but yeah. Also, I made a video on trend line yesterday, so yeah. All right. Let's see. So 10 not bad. Battery day have not. Yeah, I know. Battery day has not started. So if we announce something revolutionary, we may kind of go. Yeah, he has not. I don't know. Trevor Milton is kind of messed up position. Seems like he deleted his Twitter too. So only God knows what's going on. But how much you guys put in Tesla? I want to hear. I saw some people have 30-40 contract. If those are like $100 contract, not too bad. I mean, it's still not a small amount, but these are lotteries, right? Lotteries, you should not put a lot. Chief security officer. Okay, 300 not bad, Tyler. Yeah, $300 is not bad. I mean, if you just put $300, I mean, sometimes, 2,500 calls. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's 2 contracts, not bad. I think I have like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, so 24. I have about 24 or 25 contracts, and the good thing is I'm not far away. I'm mostly my contract mostly like I have few 30 and 40 something I think, but most are like 2022. So basically 420, 422 is my highest. So that way, even if your Tesla remains flat, I should be fine. So 420, 450, that's not bad. I mean, you got in at 300, so I think you should be able to get 300 tomorrow. 3K, 1K buy-in. 1K buy-in is not good. Not bad. That's good. I mean, if 420. Yeah, it's not bad. If Tesla opens 40, you should be profitable. I know. Get back to a car. Rock the stock price. If you guys are new and have not subscribed, please do subscribe. I have a video about trend line. You should check it out. Just trend. A lot of people's like, right, make a trend. Trend works a lot of the times. And also, if you guys don't come in live, I go live in the morning, about an hour, 2 hours. So check it out. Two contracts, 480, 490. That's not bad. So even if you lose, you're probably not gonna lose everything to 275. You should be able to get something tomorrow. I got two 491. Yeah, 595, 600. Really hard to tell. It has to be really revolutionary, as he said. But 495, 500. If we gap up, could be good. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I think it's gonna start soon. They're giving us some time to chit chat, I guess. I do one-on-one, so I do like hour, like $100 per hour. So for hour session. The link in my Twitter. Everything, every socials if you want. Yeah. All right, all in. Let's get ready. Yeah, I mean, sometimes fun, it's fine, right? But yeah, you should not put everything in one basket. I mean, again, if somebody has like $100,000 account, like he can put 5,000, that's fine. It's just 5%, right? He can lose 50%. He just lost, like what? 2.5k, right? Not a big deal. But if you have like 5k account and you put like 4,000 in Tesla, that's risky. It may win, but chances are no, you're not gonna make money that way. If even if you don't use Twitter, that's fine. You can just click the link and get the link. Sure. I can send the link right here, I guess. Sure, Mahar. I'm gonna post it somewhere. So still kind of waiting for the event. I posted the link, but yeah, it's just calendly.com/Trades. It's there. So yeah, what are they doing? Like, I don't know. They're dancing or whatever. What number do you gotta see to sell their? They're getting back in their car. What number? So basically, right? Like depends like where you got in. So if it goes a little bit, so I had some a spreadsheet. I mean, since we are waiting for the event to start, but if you look at I just wanna I don't wanna do that. Was it like FOZ? Just started, not yet. There's some, not total sheet. I think this is, I don't want to sign up. There's some lot of scratch. Okay, I want something like that, or one. I think this works. Oh no, not this, but did I delete it? Sorry. Well, I can just do it here, I guess. Event has not yet started, but look at that, right? I think a lot of people are shooting for 500, 600%. So I'll tell you. So let's say you have 10K account, right? So always I will max, like, again, I think like you should put like 5 to 10%, but let's do 10%. So basically your one play would be 1K. That's a max you should put it. Again, if it's $1,000, it would be 100. So it doesn't matter, whatever, just the same proportion, right? 1K. And you do is like you have 10 trades making 1K, 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 1K. You got the idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That's 10. So what should you go? One thing is, don't do weekly. Just get it like few weeks out or few weeks. It's not a get rich quick. You'll probably lose money if you intend to do that. But when do you get out? Aim for like maybe 20 to 30%, right? Aim for 20 to 30%. If you do that for 1,000, you're gonna make, let's say on the average, 250, right? 25% of 1,000 is 250, and nobody gonna win all. You lose 5, so other 5 you lose. So how much you lose? Let's say you're gonna lose 10%, right? So how much you lose per trade? You lose 100.
Hello, everyone.
I think it just started, but I'll make a video about it.
Sure.
All
Thanks,
right,
Elon.
battery is
Hi.
here, guys.
I'm Drew Baglino, SVP of Powertrain and Energy Engineering at Tesla, and I'm incredibly excited to talk about what we've been doing at batteries here at Tesla.
Great. So let's see. You got the clicker.
Yeah, I've got the clicker. Yeah.
Okay. Let's I'll take it first, perhaps.
Sure.
So obviously the issues we're facing are very serious. With climate change, and we're experiencing these issues on a day-to-day basis. It's incredibly important we accelerate the advent of sustainable energy. Time really matters. This presentation is about accelerating the time to sustainable energy. So the past 5 years were the hottest on record. We have what looks like a wall for CO2 ppm. It's obviously, this time is not like the past. It's really important that we take action. Running this climate experiment is insane. So,
especially when it's just a transitory one anyway.
Yes.
We're going to run out of these fossil fuels. Let's just move to the future and not run this experiment any longer.
Yeah. Talk a bit louder.
You got it.
Okay. So anyway, there is a lot of good news though. A lot of people may not be aware that wind and solar comprise 75% of new electricity capacity in the US this year. So this is a really major. So the grid is going sustainable very, very quickly. Now, it's also worth noting that the length of time that power plants last is on the order of 25 years. So even if 100% of energy generation was sustainable, it would still take 25 years to convert the grid. And it's also worth noting that in the past 10 years, power production from coal has dropped in half. So it went from 46% of electricity in 2010 to 23% in 2020. So this is a massive improvement. So good things are happening on a lot of levels. We just need to go faster. So in terms of Tesla's contribution, we've delivered over 1 million electric vehicles, 26 billion electric miles driven, and many gigawatt hours of stationary batteries, 17 terawatt hours of solar generated. So I think solar is sometimes underweighted at Tesla, but it is a massive part of our future. The three parts of a sustainable energy future are sustainable energy generation, storage, and electric vehicles. So we intend to play a significant role in all three. So to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy, we must produce more EVs that need to be affordable and a lot more energy storage while building factories faster and with far less investment. So goal number one is a terawatt hour scale battery production. So tera is the new giga, and a terawatt is 1,000 times more than a gigawatt. So we used to talk in terms of gigawatts. In the future, we'll be talking in terms of terawatt hours. So this is what's needed in order to transition the world to sustainability.
Yeah, and you can see we're talking about 100x growth in batteries for electric vehicles to achieve this mission. And we are going to get there. It's just a matter of how fast, and our intention is to accelerate it.
Yeah. You basically need on the order of roughly 10 terawatt hours a year of battery production to transition the global fleet of vehicles to electric.
And the average vehicle lasts 15 years, so we're talking about 150 terawatt hours, give or take, to transition the whole all vehicles of all types to electric.
Yeah, so it's a lot of batteries, basically. Yeah, so.
And then on the grid side, we have a similar mountain to climb, 1,600 times growth from today's grid batteries to go 100% renewable on the grid and to take all of the existing heating fossil fuel uses in homes and businesses 100% electric.
Yeah, and this number, I think, might grow even more, as the world economy matures and as countries with high populations industrialize, we could see this number be even more. But let's say it's like roughly 20 to 25 terawatt hours per year, sustained for 15 to 25 years to transition the world to renewable. This is a lot.
Yeah.
So today's batteries can't scale fast enough. They're just too small. For Giga Nevada, 150 gigawatt hours per year is like what we probably expect to make out of there. But this is really pretty small in the grand scheme of things. That's only 0.15 terawatt hours. And it costs too much. So
we would need 135 fully built out Nevada gigafactories to achieve 20 terawatt hours a year. It's not scalable enough of a solution. We need a dramatic rethink of the cell manufacturing system to scale as fast as we can and should.
Yeah, and I think we should view this as more than just a question of money. Money is sort of like an ethereal thing, but it's really the amount of effort. You have a certain amount of effort, in terms of people and machines, and depending on how efficient that effort is, for a given amount of effort, you want the most amount of batteries. So it's not just a question of like, well, if we had $2 trillion, tomorrow you could make this. It's not that easy. You actually need to organize a massive number of people, build a lot of machines, build the machines that make the machines. And so it's incredibly important to have that effort yield the most number of batteries. So, and then goal 2, obviously, we need to make more affordable cars. I think one of the things that troubles me the most is that we don't yet have a truly affordable car, and that is something that we will make in the future. But in order to do that, we've got to get the cost of batteries down. We've got to make, and we've got to be better at manufacturing, and we need to do something about this curve. The curve of the cost per kilowatt hour of batteries is not improving fast enough. So we've given this a lot of thought over many years to say, okay, how can we radically improve the cost per kilowatt hour curve? It's been somewhat flattening out, actually, in recent years. So
I mean, early growth was promising, but you can see we're kind of plateauing. So that's what's motivating us to rethink how cells are produced and designed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and EV market share is growing, but EVs, still aren't accessible to all. And you can see, as Drew was saying, it's like starting to flatten out a little bit because the rate of improvement of the affordability of cars is just not fast enough. So that's why we got Battery Day.
Yeah. To make the best cars in the world, we design vehicles and factories from the ground up. Next.
Yeah.
And now we do this for batteries as well.
Yeah. It's weird, the slides don't show up quite right. What shows up on the screen is not quite what shows up there.
Oh, okay.
It's different.
Yeah, I think it's because that's, yeah.
No, that one's current, supposed to be current. Anyway.
So let's get started. We have a plan to have the cost per kilowatt hour.
All right, guys, let's get it started. Guys, this is awesome. And
it's not a plan that rests on a single innovation, some research project that'll never see the light of day. Right. It's a plan that has taken creative engineering and industrialization across every facet of what makes a cell into a battery pack, from raw material to the finished thing. And we're going to go through that plan with you today, step by step, and build up how we get to these goals and how we accelerate this transition and make our vehicles and our grid batteries more affordable.
Yeah, I mean, we basically thought through every element of the battery, well, almost every element. There are a few more elements that we won't get to today, but we will get to in the future.
Yes. So first, before we get too far into it, let's talk about what is in a battery cell. We've got the cap and the can, negative and positive terminals of the cell. When you open that cell, you've got a tab connected to those terminals, what we call the jelly roll, which is the wound electrodes on the inside. You can actually see what this looks like as you unwind it. This is over 1 meter long in a typical 2170 cell. So it's quite a long winding process. And you can see the tab still there. And then, to explain what's actually going on here, we've identified we've got anode, cathode, separator, positive and negative terminal. Watch what happens as we, there we go, discharge the cell. Got lithium moving from anode to cathode, and then the reverse. When we charge the cell, anode moving from lithium moving from cathode to anode across the separator. This is the basic of what makes all lithium-ion batteries, whether they're no matter what the form factor is. And when we look at what's happened to date, at least in our products, we've moved from the 18650 form factor to the 2170 form factor through great collaboration with our partners, Panasonic, new partners like LG and CATL, and probably others in the future.
Yeah. Actually, so a slight note on why is the one called the 18650, although not on the slide, versus the 2170, is that the first 2 digits refer to the diameter, and the second 2 digits refer to the length. So that helps explain why are these weird. What's up with these weird numbers? But like nobody could explain to me why there was an extra 0. So I said, like, okay, well, we're deleting the 0 that nobody can explain in future form factors. So that's why it's technically it's like the 18650 bizarrely, but going forward it's the 2170 because we just got rid of the extra 0 because it's pointless.
And this was a evolutionary step going from 1865 to 2170, bringing 50% more energy into the cell. But when we look to the ideal cell design, if we were to do it ourselves, we need to go beyond just what we're looking at us in front of us, and study the full spectrum of options. So as you can see, we kind of swept the key figures of merit, how much we can reduce the cost, and how much vehicle range increases as we change the outer diameter of the cell. We found a sweet spot somewhere around 46 millimeters. But it's not just about a bigger form factor. Like, anybody could make a bigger form factor.
Any fool could make a bigger form factor. We not any fool.
Yeah, exactly. There are problems as you make cells larger. In fact, supercharging and thermals in general become really challenging as you make bigger cells. And this was the challenge that our team set our sights on to overcome. And we did. We came up with this tabless architecture that maybe you've heard about, that basically removes the thermal problem from the equation and allows us to go to the absolute lowest cost form factor and the simplest manufacturing process. And this is what we mean when we talk about tabless. It's kind of a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's what these T-shirts mean, but it's very esoteric. It's like nobody could figure it out. But
yeah, we basically took the existing foils, laser patterned them, and enabled dozens of connections into the active material through this shingled spiral you can see, with simpler manufacturing, fewer parts, 50 millimeter versus 250 millimeter electrical path length, which is how we get all the thermal benefits.
Yeah, this is important to appreciate. Like, basically the distance that electron has to travel, is just much less. So you actually have a shorter path length in a large tabless cell than you have in the smaller cell with tabs. This is a big deal. So even though the cell is bigger, it actually has more power. The power to weight ratio is actually better than the smaller cell with tabs. This is, again, like, this is quite hard to do. So it's nobody's done it before. And it really took a tremendous amount of effort within Tesla engineering to figure out how do we make a freaking tabless cell and have it actually work and then connect that to the top cap. And it's there's a whole bunch of things that we're keeping a little secret sauce here that we're not telling everything. But
sometimes what's elegant and simple is still hard, and it took us a lot of trials, but we're happy where we ended up.
Yeah, I mean, everything's simple in recollection. After you simple, everything it's hard until it's discovered, and then it's simple. So anyway, there's a lot of really cool things going on that enable tabless, and it's really due to a really great engineering team. Drew and the rest of the team have done amazing work in achieving this tabless construction. And it sounds, I think it may sort of sound a bit silly to some people, but this is like, if for people that really know cells, this is a massive breakthrough.
For cylindricals to be able to get rid of the tabs dramatically simplifies winding and coating.
Yeah.
And has an awesome thermal and performance benefit.
Yeah, that's just to elaborate on that a bit. It's like when the cell is going through the system, it has to keep stopping where all the tabs are.
Yes.
So you can't do continuous motion production if you have tabs. You have to keep stopping, and then there's a rate at which you can start and stop and accelerate again, and it really slows down the rate of production. And then sometimes you get the tabs wrong, and you also lose a little bit of active area. It's really a huge pain in the ass to have tabs from a production standpoint.
Yes. And so when we put it all together and go to our new 80 millimeter length, 4680, we call this new cell design, we get 5 times the energy with 6 times the power and enable 16% range increase, just form factor alone.
Yeah, so these, yeah, it's pretty great. And just to clarify, when we see these plus 16% or whatever the percentage range increases, these are the amounts due just to that particular innovation.
Yes. So
we'll list a whole bunch of innovations, and then when you add them up, you get a total improvement in energy density and cost. But these numbers are what refer to just this thing.
Yeah, and I want to stress, this is not just a concept or a rendering. We are starting to ramp up manufacturing of these cells at our pilot 10 gigawatt hour production facility just around the corner.
Yeah. So
Oh man, look at
Yeah.
that. Price kind of
it's a video of some of what's going on in the plant.
Okay, they are producing those battery. So it's coming up.
Now, I mean, to be clear, it will take about a year to reach the 10 gigawatt hour capacity. This is important to appreciate. Like when you build a factory, there's a certain capacity that you design to, and then it takes some period of time to actually achieve that capacity. So I would say it's probably about a year before we get to the 10 gigawatt hour annualized rate with the pilot plant. And this is just a pilot plant. The actual production plants will be more on the order of maybe 200 gigawatt hours, maybe more over time.
And thank you. But let's stack up everything we just saw at the cell level. So just the cell form factor change enables a 14% dollar per kilowatt hour reduction, just that cell form factor change. And now that you've been teased on this factory, we're going to go on and walk step by step through that factory and discuss a series of innovations there. When thinking about the ideal cell factory, we have inspirations behind us in the paper and bottling industry, where from humble beginnings, over a century of innovation has enabled mass-scale, continuous motion, unbelievably low manufacturing cost. And when we think about the lithium-ion industry, which is really only in its third decade of high-volume production, it has so far to go to achieve similar scale and simplicity. And that was the inspiration that we set out to the team as we thought about how to marry cell design and manufacturing in the best possible factory. And let's talk a little bit about what's in a cell factory. First, there's an electrode process where the active materials are coated into films onto foils. Then those coated foils are wound in the winding process we just talked about, where if you do have tabs, you have to start and stop a lot. Then the jelly roll is assembled into the can, sealed, filled with electrolyte, and then sent to formation, where the cell is charged for the first time, and where the sort of the electrochemistry is set and the quality of the cell is verified. And we set out at every step of this process to try to take that inspiration we just showed and think about how we make those processes fundamentally better and more scalable. And one of the most important processes is where it all begins, the wet process of the electrode coating. And just to give you all a sense of scale, I'm going to walk through what's in that wet process. You've got mixing where the powders are mixed with either a water or a solvent, solvents for the cathode. That mix then goes into a large coat and dry oven where the slurry is coated onto the foil, huge ovens, tens of meters long, dried, and that solvent then has to be recovered. You can see the solvent recovery system. And then finally, the coated foil is compressed to the final density. And when you're looking at this, you're like, wow, that's a lot of equipment for one step, especially when you consider that little speck next to the coating oven is a person. This is serious iron involved in making batteries. Wouldn't it be great if we could skip that solvent step, which is one of those dig a ditch and then fill it kind of things where you put the solvent in and then take it out and recycle it, and just go straight to dry mix to coat. And that's what the dry process really is about. And in the most basic form, you can see it here on a bench top. Literally, powder into film. As simple as that.
I mean, it's hard, actually, just to be clear. If this was easy, everyone would do it. So it's not like dry coating electrode is actually easy. It's actually very hard to do what appears to be a simple thing. And it's worth noting, we did acquire Maxwell as like a little over a year ago, I guess. It's certainly a good company and everything, but the dry coating they had was like sort of I would call proof of concept. Since the acquisition, we've actually revved the machine that does dry coating 4 times. So we're in revision 4 post acquisition of the machine, and there's still a lot of work to do. So I would not say this is like completely in the bag. There's still a lot of work to do, and as you go from like benchtop to lab to pilot to volume production, there are actually major issues that you encounter at every level. It's not like you make something work on your bench and bingo, now you can make a bazillion of it.
Absolutely.
It's insanely difficult to scale up.
But if you do scale it up,
yeah,
what you saw before becomes this.
Yeah.
So you can see the motivation. A 10 times reduction in footprint, a 10 times reduction in energy, and a massive reduction in investment. But as Elon was saying, simple is hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be clear, I would like to not say that right now it's just totally working. It's close to working, but it's not, even now, at the pilot plant level, it is close to working. Well, it's fair to say it does work, but with not a high yield.
Yeah,
so
we're still ironing out the kinks, but we've made tens of thousands of cells, thousands of kilometers of electrode. I mean, we are on the 4th generation of the equipment, so we've learned a lot along the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it is super demanding because every atom has its place if you want to deliver the energy density and the cycle life and the supercharging.
Yeah.
But we're confident that we will get there, but it will be a lot of work along the way.
There's a clear path to success, but a ton of work between here and there.
Yeah.
So, but this is a really profound improvement. Again, for people that know battery manufacturing, this is gigantic. We'll probably be on machine revision 6 or 7 by the time we do large-scale production. The rate at which the machines are being improved is extremely rapid. Like literally every 3 or 4 months is a new rev.
Yeah, and beyond the electrode, we continue to innovate on every other process step. So let's talk a little bit about assembly, which is next. The key to a high-performing assembly line is accomplishing processes while in motion, continuous motion, and thinking of the line as a highway, max velocity down the highway, no start and stop, no city driving.
Exactly, no stoplights and traffic lights or anything. You want the highway.
I want the highway.
Yeah.
And together with our internal design team that makes this equipment and designs this equipment, we coupled thinking about how to make the best cell with thinking about how to make the best equipment so that we could accomplish the fastest parts per minute rates on all of these tools. And through all of that development, we were able to get to the point where we can implement assembly lines, one line, 20 gigawatt hours, 7 times increase in output per line. And when you're thinking about scalability and pure effort, having one line be 7x the capability is just effort multiplying.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can sort of think about like the sort of the fundamental physics of a factory or something. Like, I think it's actually quite a lot like the rocket equation, where you've got basically in the rocket equation you've got your exhaust velocity and then the log of the start to end masses. So it's basically saying, how fast are things going and what percentage of the factory volume is doing useful work. And conveyance does not count as useful work. So
only the value-added steps.
Yeah, if you break the factory down into cubic meter sections, and say, or smaller, it could be like 1 liter sections, and say, is a majority of this volume doing useful work? You would be astounded at how bad most factories are. They're like maybe 2 or 3%, including our factory in Fremont. So I think it is possible to get to at least 10 times that volumetric efficiency. So more like 30%. Ish, maybe more, and be 10x better, which means the factory can be 10 times smaller. And then the other thing is how fast are things going through the factory. It's like speed and density. The faster you go, like if a factory that's moving at say twice the speed of another factory is equivalent to 2 factories basically. And the company that will be successful is the company that with 1 factory can accomplish what other companies take 2 or 3 or 4 factories to do. So this is what we're trying to do here is say, okay, how do we, with 1 factory, achieve what maybe 5 or even 10 factories would normally be required to achieve?
And the vertical integration with the machine design teams at Groman and Hybar and others allows us to really accomplish that because we don't have all these edge conditions between one piece of equipment and another. We can design the entire machine to be one machine and remove all of these unnecessary steps.
Yeah, I mean, basically Tesla is aiming to be the best at manufacturing of any company on earth. This is the thing that's actually most important in the long run. I think, just from a company standpoint and from basically achieving sustainability as fast as possible. But I think also for long-term competitiveness, eventually every car company will have long-range electric cars. Eventually every company will have autonomy. I think, but not every company will be great at manufacturing. Tesla will be absolutely head and shoulders above anyone else in manufacturing. That is our goal.
Manufacturing is hard, and hard problems are fun to solve. Okay, now let's talk about formation. In a typical cell factory, formation represents 25% of the investment. And what is formation? It's charging and discharging cells and verifying the quality of the cell. Turns out we've charged and discharged billions and billions of cells in our vehicles, so we know a thing or two about that. The typical formation setup is you charge and discharge each cell individually. In our car, we charge thousands of cells at once. And we took our principal and our power electronics, leveraging Powerwall, vehicle battery management systems, and others, to dramatically improve the formation equipment cost effectiveness and density. 86% reduction in formation investment, 75% reduction in footprint.
So,
you want to take this one?
Sure. So, essentially, what this translates to, based on what we know today, is about a 75% reduction in the investment per kilowatt hour or gigawatt hour. It's just basically 4 times better than the current state of the art, to the best of our knowledge. And I think there's probably room to improve even beyond that.
Definitely.
Definitely, yeah. We're able to, from a volume standpoint, actually get what, in a smaller form factor than Giga Nevada, we were able to get many times the cell output. So you can see, like, basically, we can get a terawatt hour in less space than it took to make a gigawatt hour. 150 gigawatt hours. So this is pretty profound. It's like I would actually not have thought this was possible several years ago. That we could actually get to terawatt hour scale in less space than what we currently envision for doing 150 gigawatt hours. So
yes, simpler accelerates terawatt hour scale, and that's what we need to do to accelerate our mission. And as Elon said, we're going to try to even improve on this as we push towards our goals, which are.
Yeah. So this is just for. This is just talking about Tesla internal cell production. As I tweeted out earlier, we will continue to use our cell suppliers, Panasonic and LG and CATL. And so this is 100 gigawatt hours supplemental to what we buy from suppliers. Yeah, essentially, this does reduce our weighted average cost of a cell because it allows us to make a lot more cars and a lot more stationary storage. And then long term, we're expecting to make on the order of 3,000 gigawatt hours or 3 terawatt hours per year. I think we can. I think we've got a good chance of achieving this actually before 2030, but I'm highly confident that we could do it by 2030.
When you look at the size of that factory on the previous page, it really shows how enabling all of these advancements are in achieving a 3 terawatt hour goal by 2030. And not only is all of that manufacturing innovation fantastic for enabling scale, it's also an additional 18% reduction in dollar per kilowatt hour at the battery pack level.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
So we have a manufacturing system. We've got a cell design. What are the active materials we're going to put in that cell design? Let's talk about the anode first. Let's talk about silicon. Why is silicon awesome? It's awesome because it's the most abundant element in the Earth's crust after oxygen, which means it's everywhere. It's sand.
It's iron.
Yeah. Sand is silicon dioxide.
Yeah. And it happens to store 9 times more lithium than graphite, which is the typical anode material in lithium-ion batteries today. So why isn't everybody using it? The main reason is because the challenge with silicon is that it expands 4x when fully charged with lithium. And basically, all of that expansion stress on the particles start cracking, they start electrically isolating, you lose capacity, the energy retention of the battery starts to fade, and it also gums up with a passivation layer that has to keep reforming as the particles expand.
Yeah, basically, with silicon, the cookie crumbles and gets gooey. That's basically what happens.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
And current approaches to solve this, which exist, I mean, we have silicon in the cars that you're all in right now, are involved highly engineered, expensive materials in the scheme of things. Now, they're still great, and they enable some of the benefits of silicon. They just don't enable all of it, and they're not scalable enough. And you can see some of the things that maybe you've heard of, SiO, silicon with carbon, or silicon nanowires. I mean, that's kind of the space right now. What we're proposing is a step change in capability and a step change in cost. And what that really is to just go to the raw metallurgical silicon itself. Don't engineer the base metal. Just start with that and design for it to expand in how you think of the particle in the electrode design and how you code it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you saw this. Basically, $1 per kilowatt hours.
Yeah.
Basically, if you use simple silicon, it's dramatically less than even the silicon that is currently used in the batteries that are made today. And you can use a lot more of it.
The anode would cost, with this silicon, and the anode costs $1.20 a kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
And how does it work? Start with raw metallurgical silicon, stabilize the surface with an elastic ion-conducting polymer coating that is applied through a very scalable approach. No like chemical vapor deposition, no highly engineered high capex solutions, and then integrated into the electrode through a robust network formed out of a highly elastic binder. And in the end, by leveraging this silicon to its potential, we can increase the range of our vehicles by an additional 20%, just this improvement.
Yeah, it gets cheaper and longer range.
Yeah, and when we take that anode cost reduction, we're looking at another 5% dollar per kilowatt hour reduction at the battery pack level. And there's more. Let's talk about cathodes. What is a battery cathode? Cathodes are like bookshelves where the metal, the nickel, the cobalt, the manganese, or aluminum is like the shelf, and the lithium is the book. And really, what sets apart these different metals is how many books of lithium they can fit on the shelves and how sturdy the shelves are. Cobalt is a...
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, it's tough to exactly figure out what the right analogy is to explain cathode and anode, but a bookshelf is probably a pretty good one, in the sense that you need a stable structure to contain the ion. So you want a structure that does not crumble or get gooey, or basically that holds its shape in both the cathode and the anode. As you're moving these ions back and forth, it needs to retain its structure. So if it doesn't retain its structure, then you lose cycle life and your battery capacity drops very quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. And I think people are always talking about oh, what's the cathode going to be? Is it NCA or whatever? The thing to consider is just fundamentally what the nickel, the metals are capable of, and that's what we have on the chart here. Dollar per kilowatt hour cathode of just the metal, using just LME, London Metal Exchange prices, versus the energy density of just the cathode. And you can see nickel is the cheapest and the highest energy density, and that's why increasing nickel is a goal of ours and really everybody's in the battery industry. But one of the reasons why cobalt is even used at all is because it is a very stable bookshelf. And the challenge with going to pure nickel is stabilizing that bookshelf with only nickel. And that's what we've been working on with our high nickel cathode development, which has 0 cobalt in it. Leveraging novel coatings and dopants, we can get a 15% reduction in cathode dollar per kilowatt hour.
Yeah. Big deal.
But it's not just about nickel. You want to?
Yeah, sure. So in order to scale, we really need to make sure that we're not constrained by total nickel availability. I actually spoke with the CEOs of the biggest mining companies in the world and said, please make more nickel. It's very important. And so I think they are going to make more nickel. But there's also, I think we need to have a kind of a three-tiered approach to batteries. So starting with iron, that's kind of like a medium range, and then nickel manganese as sort of a medium plus, intermediate, and then a high nickel for long range applications like Cybertruck and the semi. Something like a semi truck, it's extremely important to have high energy density in order to get long range. So just to give sort of iron a bit more time, like although if you look at the watt-hours per kilogram at the cathode level of iron, it looks like nickel's twice as good. But when you fully considered at the pack level, everything else taken into account, nickel is about maybe 50 or 60% better than iron. So iron is a little better than it would seem when you look at it at the pack level fully considered. It's not as good as nickel. Nickel is like 50 to 60% better, but it's actually pretty good. And so, good for stationary storage and for medium range applications where energy density is not paramount. And then, like I said, for intermediate, it's kind of a nickel manganese, and it's relatively straightforward to do a cathode that's 2/3 nickel, 1/3 manganese, which would then allow us to make 50% more cell volume with the same amount of nickel.
And with very little energy trade-off. I mean,
Yeah.
just enough to have you still want to use 100% nickel for something like a semi-truck, but really not much of a sacrifice at all.
Yeah.
And, beyond the metals, because a lot of people spend time talking about the metals, actually the cathode process itself is a big target. 35% of the cathode dollar per kilowatt hour is just in transferring it into its final form. And so we see that as a big target, and we decided to take that on. Here's a view of the traditional cathode process. Effectively, if you start at the left and you have the metal from the mine, the first thing that happens is the metal from the mine is changed into an intermediate thing called a metal sulfate, because that's just happened to be what chemists wanted a long time ago. And then when you're making the cathode, you have to take this intermediate thing called metal sulfate, add chemicals, add a whole bunch of water, a whole bunch of stuff happens in the middle, and at the end, you get that little bit of cathode and a whole bunch of wastewater and byproducts.
Yeah, it's insanely complicated. If you look at the total, like if you're just like, it's a small world journey of I am a nickel atom. What happens to me? And it's crazy. Like you're going around the world 3 times. There's like the moral equivalent of like dig in the ditch, fill in the ditch, and dig in the ditch again. It's total madness, basically. And these things just grew up as they're just kind of like legacy things that it's like how it was done before, and then they connected the dots, but really didn't think of the whole thing from like a first principle standpoint, saying how do we get from the nickel ore in the ground to the finished nickel product for a battery. And so we've looked at the entire value chain and said how can we make this as simple as possible.
And that's what we're proposing here with our process. As you can see, a whole lot less is going on here. We get rid of the intermediate, metal, water, final product cathode, recirculate the water, no wastewater at all. And when you summarize all of that, it's a 66% reduction in CapEx investment, a 76% reduction in process cost, and 0 wastewater. Much more scalable solution.
Yeah.
And then when you think about the fact that now we're actually just directly consuming the raw metal nickel powder, it dramatically simplifies the metal refining part of the whole process. So we can eliminate billions in battery-grade nickel intermediate production. It's not needed at all.
Yeah.
And we can also use that same process we showed on the previous page to directly consume the metal powder coming out of recycled electric vehicle and grid storage batteries. So this process enables both simpler mining and simpler recycling. And now that we have this process, obviously we're going to go and start building our own cathode facility in North America and leveraging all of the North American resources that exist for nickel and lithium. And just doing that, just localizing our cathode supply chain and production, we can reduce miles traveled by all the materials that end up in the cathode by 80%, which is huge for cost.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, cathode production would be part of the Tesla cell production plant. So it would just be, basically, raw materials coming from the mine, and from raw materials in the mine, out comes a battery.
And on that note, the way the lithium ends up in the cell is through the cathode, so then we should obviously on-site lithium conversion as well, which is what we will do using a new process that we're going to pioneer. That's a sulfate-free process again, skip the intermediate. 33% reduction in lithium cost, 100% electric facility co-located with the cathode plant.
Yeah. So it's important to note that there is a massive amount of lithium on Earth.
Yeah.
So lithium is not like oil. There's a massive amount of it pretty much everywhere. In fact, there's enough lithium in the United States to convert the entire United States fleet to electric. Like all the cars in the United States, there's like 300 million or something like that. Every vehicle in the United States can be converted to electric using only lithium that is available in the United States.
Discovered today.
What we already know exists.
People really haven't even been looking.
Yeah, people haven't been trying because it's just like widely available. So, but it is important to say, like, okay, what is the smartest way to take the ore and extract the lithium and do so in an environmentally friendly way? And we actually discovered again, looking at a sort of first principles physics standpoint, instead of just the way it's always been done, is we found that we can actually use table salt, sodium chloride, to basically extract the lithium from the ore. Nobody's done this before. To the best of my knowledge, nobody's done this. And it's a sort of, all the elements are reusable. It's a very sustainable way of obtaining lithium. And we actually we actually got rights to a lithium clay deposit in Nevada.
Over 10,000 acres.
Over 10,000 acres. And then the nature of the mining is actually, I think, also very environmentally sensitive in that we sort of take a chunk of dirt out of the ground, or remove the lithium, and then put the chunk of dirt back where it was. So it will look pretty much the same as before, and it will not look like terrible, and yeah, it'll be nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So
simply mix clay with salt, put it in water, salt comes out with the lithium, done.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So we're really excited about this, and there really is enough lithium in Nevada alone to electrify the entire U.S. fleet.
Yeah, I think that's true. Actually, just what's in Nevada. That's basically so much damn lithium on Earth, it's crazy. It's one of the most common elements on the planet.
And eventually, as we said at the beginning, when we get to this steady state 20 terawatt hours per year of production, we will transfer the entire non-renewable fleet of both power plants, home heating and battery and industry heating and vehicles to electric. And at that point, we have an awesome resource in those batteries to recycle to make new batteries. So we don't need to do any more mining at that point. And you can see why.
Yeah.
The difference in the value of the material coming back from the vehicle versus the ground, you'd always go to the vehicle. And we recycle 100% of our vehicle batteries today. And actually, we are starting our pilot full-scale recycling production at Gigafactory Reno next quarter to continue to develop this process as our recycling returns grow.
Yeah, I mean, to date it's been done by third parties, but we think we can recycle the batteries more effectively, especially since our batteries, we're making the same battery as the thing we're recycling. So whereas like third-party recyclers have to consider batteries of all kinds.
Yeah, and just to think about what this actually means, the recycling resource is always 10 or greater years delayed because batteries last a really long time. But eventually, it is the way that all resources will be made available, and that's why we're investing in this recycling facility in Nevada.
Yeah. Long-term, new batteries will come from old batteries once the fleet reaches steady state.
Right. Okay, so we just talked about scaling cathode and recycling. All of the benefits that you just saw are added to this benefit of a 12% reduction in dollars per kilowatt hour at the battery pack level. Almost at our half the cost goal, but there's one more section. Take it away, Elon.
Great. So there's an architecture that we've been wanting to do at Tesla for a long time, and we finally figured it out. And I think it's the way that all electric cars in the future will ultimately be made. It's the right way to do things. So it starts with having a single piece casting, or a single piece casting for the front body and the rear body. In order to do this, we commissioned the largest casting machine that has ever been made, and it's currently working just over the road at our Fremont plant. We have it's pretty sweet. Making the currently making the entire rear section of the car as a single piece, high pressure die cast aluminum. And in order to do this, we actually had to develop our own alloy because we wanted a high strength casting alloy that did not require coatings or heat treatment. This is a big deal for castings, especially with a large casting. If you heat treat it afterwards, it tends to deform. It kind of does this potato chip thing. So it's very hard to keep a large casting to have its shape. So in order to achieve this, there was no alloy that existed that could do this. So we developed our own alloy, a special alloy of aluminum that has high strength without heat treat and is very castable. So that's a great achievement of our materials team. In fact, in general, we've got a lot of advanced materials coming for Tesla, that new alloys and materials that have never existed before. So so you're basically making the front and rear of the car as a single piece, and then that interfaces to what we call the structural battery, where the battery for the first time will have dual use. The battery will both have the use as an energy device and as structure. This is absolutely the way things are done. In the early days of aircraft, they would carry the fuel tanks as cargo. So the fuel tanks actually were quite difficult to carry. They were basically worse than cargo. You had to kind of bolt them down. It was very difficult. And then somebody said, "Hey, what if we just make the wing tanks? What if we just make the fuel tank in wing shape?" So all modern airplanes, the fuel tank, your wing is just a fuel tank in wing shape. This is absolutely the way to do it. And then the fuel tank serves as dual structure, and it's no longer cargo. It's fundamental to the structure of the aircraft. This was a major breakthrough. We're doing the same for cars. So this is really quite profound. Effectively, the non-cell portion of the battery has negative mass. So we save so much mass in the rest of the vehicle. We save more mass in the rest of the vehicle than the non-cell portion of the battery. So it's well, how do you really minimize the mass of a battery? Make it negative. Make the battery non-cell portion of the battery pack negative. It also allows us to pack the cells more densely because we do not have intermediate structure in the battery pack. So instead of having these supports and stabilizers and stringers and structural elements in the battery, we now have a lot more space in the battery because the pack itself is structural. And what we do is essentially, instead of having just a filler that is a flame retardant, which is currently what is in the 3NY battery packs, we have to transfer shear from the upper and lower face sheet, which makes for an incredibly stiff structure, even stiffer than a regular car.
Yeah.
In fact, if this was a convertible that had no upper structure, it would be stiffer than that convertible would be stiffer than a regular car. So it's just really really major. So it improves the mass efficiency of the battery, and then those castings are also quite important because you want to transfer load into the structural battery pack in a very smooth, continuous way, so you don't put arbitrary point loads into the battery. So you kind of have to, you want to sort of feather the load out from the front and rear into the structural battery. It also allows us to use to move the cells closer to the center of the car. Because we don't have the in the top one, we've got sort of all the supports and stuff. So the volumetric efficiency of the structural pack is much better than a non-structural pack. And we actually bring the cells closer to the center. And because they're closer to the center, it reduces the probability of a side impact potentially contacting the cells, because it has to go, any kind of side impact has to go further in order to reach the cells. It also improves what's called the polar moment of inertia, which is that you can think of when there's ice skater, arms out or arms in. Arms in, you rotate faster. So if you can bring things closer to the center, you reduce the polar moment of inertia, and that means the car maneuvers better. It just feels better. You won't know why, but it just feels more agile. So it's really cool. This is really major. Like I said, so 10% mass reduction in the body of the car, 14% range increase, 370 fewer parts. So, I mean, I really think that long term, any cars that do not take this architecture will not be competitive.
And it's not just at the product level a better product, but in the factory, it's a massive simplification. You saw the part removal. It's casting machines. It's the structural battery pack. So we're looking at over 50% reduction in investment per gigawatt hour, 35% reduction in floor space, and we'll continue to improve that as we make the vehicle factory of the future.
Yeah, so it's major improvements on all fronts, from the cell all the way to the vehicle.
And in addition to the improvements we just said on enabling additional range and improving the structural performance of the vehicle, it is worth another 7% dollar per kilowatt hour reduction at the battery pack level, bringing our total reductions now to 56% dollars per kilowatt hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so stacking it up.
Profitable.
We're not just talking about cost or range. We've got to look at all the facets. So range increase, we're unlocking up to 54% increase in range for our vehicles and energy density for our energy products. 56% reduction in dollars per kilowatt hour at the battery pack level, and a 69% reduction in investment per gigawatt hour, which is the true enabler when we talk back about how do we achieve this scale problem here.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty nice that investment per gigawatt hour reduction is 69%. I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah, just happened to happen out that way.
I mean, 0.420%, of course. So what this enables us to do is achieve a new trajectory in the reduction of cell cost. And now, to be clear, it will take us probably a year to 18 months to start realizing these advantages, and probably to fully realize the advantages, probably it's about 3 years or thereabouts. So, it's not like if we could do this instantly, we would. But it's really, I think what this bodes for, it just really bodes well for the future, and means that the long-term scaling of Tesla and the sustainable energy products that we make will be massively increased. So, what tends to happen as companies get bigger is things tend to slow down. Actually, they're going to speed up.
And they have to speed up if we're going to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy.
Yeah. I mean, long term, we want to try to replace about, at least 1% of the total vehicle fleet on Earth, which is about 2 billion vehicles. So long term, we want to try to make about 20 million vehicles a year.
But I think it's important to point out that when we talked about 3 terawatt hours by 2030, the problem is a 20 terawatt hour problem. So everybody needs to be accelerating their efforts to accomplish these objectives.
Keep honking.
Doesn't matter where you are in the value chain. There is a ton to do. You need to rethink from first principles how you do it so that you can scale to meet all of our objectives.
Yep.
And Elon?
Sure.
What does this mean?
What does this mean for our future products? We're confident that long term we can design and manufacture a compelling $25,000 electric vehicle.
Yes. That would be huge. Yes, that's huge. 25,000. That's what I was looking. I was telling you guys.
This has always been our dream from the beginning of the company. I even wrote a blog piece about it because our first car was an expensive sports car, and then it was like slightly less expensive sedan.
Look at this, guys. That's why I tell you.
I don't know, mass market premium, but like the Model 3 and Model Y.
Price going up.
But it was always our goal to try to make an affordable electric car. And I think probably.
So look at the price.
Yeah, like I said, about 3 years from now, we're confident we can make a very compelling $25,000 electric vehicle that's also fully autonomous.
And when you think about the $25,000 price point, you have to consider how much less expensive it is to own an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
So actually, it becomes even more affordable at that $25,000 price point.
Yeah. So we have and extreme performance and range, and we should probably talk about the Model S Plaid. What about that?
All right, guys, let's do. Boom, 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 boom. Come on, Tesla. 500. $11,000 horsepower. That's amazing.
Yeah. Woo. So, we took the latest Plaid out to Laguna Seca on Sunday. It got a minute 30, and we think probably there's another 3 seconds or more to take off that time. So we're confident the Model S Plaid will achieve the best track time of any production vehicle ever, of any kind, two-door or otherwise. And you can order it now, and it's available basically end of next year. So, and now we'll move to Q&A.
Absolutely.
So we'll invite a few people on stage.
What the fuck?
Come on up,
Nobody cares about that 25,000 car. They have to. One thing is like the presentation.
This is just a small portion
Elon
of the team,
is a great guy, but
it would be great to
he has to be
show
like
you some more of the
Steve
team.
Jobs,
and
he cannot do
when we do
presentation.
Q&A, we can give various people different questions to answer.
Sounds great. Actually, I don't know how we're getting the questions.
Actually, I don't know either.
Didn't know how
you can just you can maybe get out of the car for 2 seconds and yell it at us. I don't know. Hey, how are you getting questions?
Oh, they're mics. Okay, wait for the mic.
Oh, there are mics. Okay, great.
All right.
Okay, we'll definitely need to give people mics because otherwise there's no way.
Why the heck?
Sorry?
Fuck. Why it's dumping though?
All right, we're going to pass some mics out. We don't have a name for the $25,000 car yet.
It's a great question, though.
Yes, we will be manufacturing cells in Berlin. Yep.
Thermal management system? For homes.
Oh, you mean like the home HVAC? Yeah, that's a pet project that I'd love to get going on. I don't know, maybe we'll start working on that next year. Because I just think you could really make a way better home HVAC system that's really quiet and super efficient and super energy efficient, and also has like a way better filter for particles, and and it works very reliably. And we've already developed that for the car. Like, so the heat pump in the Model Y is really pretty spectacular. It's tiny, it's efficient, it has to last for 15 years. It's got to work in all kinds of conditions, from the coldest winter to the hottest summer. So we've actually already done a massive amount of the work necessary for a really kick-ass home HVAC. And they can also stack them. So if you want to say, depending upon the size of your house or whatever, how much you need, you can just basically stack them, and just have a very compelling, super efficient home HVAC. And then you can also communicate with the car, and it'll know when you're coming home. Man. So it's like, I don't need to keep the house cold all day. I just cool it down because I knew you were coming home. So the pack can communicate with the car and just really dial it into when you actually need cooling and heating. It'll be great.
Fun product.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Hello? Hey guys, Eli here from Tesla Owners Club, My Tesla Adventure. Just quick question. So I'm a huge fan of car camping in my Tesla with my dream case, like my all-time favorite activity. Is it going to be possible to get climate control to the back of the Cybertruck? Because that would be the ultimate camping machine if we can get all-night climate control.
We'll try to do that. Yeah, I agree. That would be really cool. Yeah.
All right, who's next?
Hello.
Oh,
Long time
fuck.
fan. Great guy. Just a question. How does the ICE industry look like for in the future?
Well, I don't think there will be an ICE industry long term. Yeah. I mean, well, I guess there might be like a few things that are like, it's a like curious thing. Like, I mean, there's still like some steam engines made somewhere, but like they're just basically sort of quirky collector's items. I mean, that will be the future of the internal combustion engine car.
Hi, Elon. To your left here in the white Model Y. Ryan McCaffrey from the Ride the Lightning Tesla podcast. Curious about Cybertruck. It was interesting to see where you had it in on the battery technology front. I'm sort of curious what you see for it in the production front. Is its volume, trucks are so popular in America, do you see its volume equaling the 3 or the Y in the future? And also, is the were you able to get Tesla is able to legally be sold in Texas as part of the Giga Texas deal?
Well, it's hard to say what the volume exactly would be for the Cybertruck. The orders are gigantic. So, and we have like, I don't know, well over 500,000 orders. I think maybe 600,000. That's a lot, basically.
Wow.
We stopped counting. So
All 500 calls.
I think there's probably room for,
up, I guess.
I don't know, at least like a unit volume of like 250 to 300,000 a year, maybe more. Now we are designing the Cybertruck to meet the American spec, because if you try to design a car to meet the global, the superset of all global requirements, it basically, you can't make the Cybertruck. It's impossible. It really is designed for the American market, but this is the biggest market. The North American market is the biggest market for pickup trucks by far, or large pickup trucks. And then I think for we'll probably make an international version of the Cybertruck that'll be kind of smaller, kind of like a tight Wolverine package. It'll still be cooler, but it'll be smaller, because you just can't make a giant truck like that for most markets. So yeah, but it's gonna be great. And I don't know. I think probably we'll be able to sell directly in Texas. We do pretty well right now, but it is a bit weird not being able to actually conclude a transaction in Texas. But it's got to be like a click on a server based in California. So, but weirdly, we can do leasing in Texas, but not selling. But hopefully that'll get cleared up in the future.
Yeah, Elon, great job with everything that you're doing. Thras Gerber from Gerber Kawasaki. Your team's amazing. What I'm most curious about, these innovations are incredible, but on my drive up here, fully on autopilot for 400 miles, the entire state is brown. And this is ultimately about climate. Has there been some analysis done if all these things are achieved? What will its direct impact be on climate?
Well, I mean, I think it will have a very significant impact, because it will stop the CO2 ppm from growing as it is every year. And I mean, I should say, like, I try to view the whole climate thing for as a science question as much as possible. Science, you always question your hypothesis. Is it true? Is it not true? Or assign a probability to a given hypothesis. And I should say that my original interest in electric vehicles predates the climate issue. Like, just when I was in high school, it was like, I thought, man, if we don't figure out electric cars, the whole economy is going to collapse when we run out of oil. So it's like, we better figure out electric cars and sustainable energy, or civilization is going to crumble. And then it was only kind of later that the significance of the climate risk became apparent. And
Danny
we were also able, using tracking and other types of technology, to access a lot more fossil fuels than previously thought.
Yeah, I totally
which is,
agree, Trader.
Helpful for lowering the cost of gasoline, but it's pretty bad for the total
if you look at the Steve Jobs,
tonnage of CO2 that you put in the atmosphere. Is now
the way he
greatly beyond
presented
what
it was
people previously
awesome.
thought.
Even if he
So,
have crap product, he would just present it so awesome.
But this is
Here,
you know, so
these
we're
guys have
just
great
going through this
things, but
presentation.
it's
It's
just
like
like,
it is a absolutely
just like me
monumental
talking, right?
task to accelerate the advent of sustainable energy. I mean, the entire global economy is still, more than 99% dependent on, or roughly 99% dependent on fossil fuels. So although electric cars kind of get a lot of press right now, they're still, and there's still very few, as a percentage of the total global fleet, is practically nothing. I would say, yes, less than 1% of the global fleet is electric right now. Because of 2 billion cars and trucks and whatnot in use. So there's a massive amount of work ahead, just insane, like hard to comprehend how much work is ahead to get the new vehicle production to be sustainable, to massively increase the amount of stationary storage, which is critical because renewable energy is intermittent. Wind and solar is intermittent. Sometimes the wind doesn't blow, and obviously the sun doesn't shine at night. So you got to have batteries, a massive number of batteries. So
it's hard to measure in direct impact, but it's an experiment that we shouldn't be performing. And the sooner we can sort of end the experiment, the sooner we can kind of move on in a fully sustainable way that is actually lower cost. I mean, I think the thing that people haven't fully internalized
I have a great
is
response.
once we do get to the 25K car, the ownership cost of that car is incredibly lower than the prior car. And then on the solar side and wind, with the cost of solar and wind coming down, and with batteries coming down with them, the actual cost of energy on the grid is going down. So we're sort of moving towards a sustainable, lower cost future. So there's not really a sacrifice.
That's true. It is a false dichotomy to say that it's either prosperity or sustainability. This is often used, by oil and gas to say like, oh, well, do you want people to lose their jobs? Do you want lower people's standards of living? Do you want to, make all these economic sacrifices, really, in order to have sustainability? And the reality, as Drew was saying, is that a sustainable energy is going to be lower cost, not higher cost, than fossil fuels.
Elon, quick question for you, right here in front. First, thanks for having everyone, and as telling a friend, the one company to go work for that's going to have the biggest structural impact over the next 10 years of scale, it's probably Tesla. So kudos to everyone at Tesla for what they've done to this point and going forward. The two questions for you, as you've looked at the auto and the storage markets, I know you've talked about it at kind of 50-50 long term, but it seems like a lot of the battery cost curve achievements that you've presented today really make some of these storage opportunities much more feasible over the next 5 years. And so I guess the first part of the question is, does your calculus upon learning and improving these things change on that 50-50 mix, or is there a role where storage becomes bigger? And then the second part of the question, with all these huge grand visions, who's going to be with Tesla from a corporate perspective accomplishing these things? Obviously, Tesla can't do it alone. But when you look at some of the traditional auto industry or power, et cetera, I don't see a lot of other Teslas.
Well, actually, so there's a lot of companies in China that I think are doing great work with electric vehicles and also with stationary storage. Although we don't see that much in the U.S. yet, but I think probably we will in the future. I don't know. I mean, obviously, we're doing everything we can to encourage other companies to move to sustainable transport. And also, make stationary storage batteries. We opened up, made our patents freely available. We really try to tell these companies, hey, you really need to do this, or you won't exist in the future. But they don't believe it, So I mean, we've talked until we're blue in the face. What are we supposed to do? But we really are hopeful that other companies will also do what we're doing, and that will make a sustainable future come sooner.
From a fundamental market size perspective, like we did the first ground up work to show the size of the market in terawatt hours, and they are roughly 50-50. 10 terawatt hours for transportation, 10 terawatt hours for the grid. And part of that is because the grid batteries, because when you're making a power plant, you're making a large investment, are 25-year assets or greater. If the grid batteries were 10-year kind of things, the grid market would be bigger. but because it's a longer duration asset, they're roughly the same size.
Thinking long term, is there any other segments that this new battery will be able to disrupt or electrify beyond just the initial Model 2 or cheaper sedan, like a boat, boring company, Luke, plane? Boat?
Where are you, Golly?
Are you
there?
What's up? Right here.
Okay, great.
It's
like ventriloquism here. You know, it's like we just get the sound out of the speaker and you can't tell where the heck it's coming from.
Yeah, any hints, or is the Model 2 such a big deal because it decreases the cost of transportation that is really the disruption? Or should we get hyped that this new cost curve opens up different vehicle categories like a high passenger density bus, boring loop, boat, plane?
Well, I mean, there are batteries in limited production right now that do exceed 400 watt-hours per kilogram, which I think is about the number you need for decent range, medium range aircraft. And I think our batteries will, over time, start to approach the 400 watt-hours per kilogram range as well. Yeah, I mean, I think over time we'll see all modes of transport, with the ironic exception of rockets, transition to sustainability, or to electric, basically. On the rocket front, what we're planning to do is like about 80% of Starship is liquid oxygen, and we're actually already running a power line to be able to use wind power to create liquid oxygen. So we're making some decent progress on sustainability on the rocket front, but there's just no way to have an electric rocket, and it's important for the future of life and consciousness that we become a multi-planet species. So got to keep doing that.
Hi, Elon.
Hello.
Josh Phillips here, retail investor. I have a question in regards to the lithium and nickel industries and the likely price spikes and shortages of high-grade materials the EV industry is likely to see if they don't act fast to address future supply. Tesla have clearly made the right moves that are necessary, but there's a real worry that the potential supply issues and price spikes will create a drag on the rest of the EV industry and therefore a drag on global EV adoption. What advice would you give to the EV and mining industries to quickly solve this looming hurdles? Because for a sustainable energy future, the spice must flow. Thank you.
Yeah, indeed, the spice must flow. The new spice. I don't know. I think I'm not sure. I guess what we can try to basically overdo it in cell production and perhaps supply cells to others. But we do see the fundamental constraint as total cell production. That's why we're putting so much effort into making cells and kind of trying to reinvent every aspect of cell production from mining the ore to a complete battery pack, because it's the fundamental constraint. We're not getting into the cell business because we, just for the hell of it. It's because it's the fundamental constraint. It's the thing that is the limiting factor for rapid growth. But we could certainly try to overdo it on cell production and perhaps sell cells to others. Although we are going at absolute top speed, so it's not like we're holding it back. But I think just making really efficient cars and that have low drag coefficient, low rolling resistance, efficient powertrains. I mean, that's kind of what we've done in order to make iron phosphate still have a good range. So the iron phosphate's lower energy density solution, but there's while there are some limitations on the total amount of nickel produced every year, there's really no limit on the iron. There's so much iron, it's ridiculous. So you can really scale up iron phosphate, at a raw materials basis faster, more than you can nickel. But yeah.
And just to point out, when we were walking through this presentation, we intentionally separated all the different aspects. The benefits of structural battery apply to an iron-based cathode in the same way they apply to a nickel-based cathode. Yeah. So you get longer range iron-based vehicles, and also the silicon benefit can apply to the iron-based vehicles as well. So we can do a lot to extend the range of an iron-based vehicle, which is why it's a key part of the roadmap going forward. and then I invited Turner up here to talk
Sure.
about what the mining industry can do.
Yeah. Diversification on the cathode side is obviously massive, and EVs are all about efficiency. And so for the EV industry, for the vehicle industry, we need to see powertrain efficiency really increase at all other companies matching Tesla powertrain efficiency so that everyone can have that diversified cathode approach where LFP is used in medium range and even really make a 300-mile vehicle with LFP. And really the goal that we were trying to present here was a model for vertical integration, strategic vertical integration that a lot of different people can do. What we need to see is
I saw some
vertical
guys,
integration
but
that shortens the
one
process
thing remember
path
is
from
like
mine
even puts
to cathode.
it has to move
And,
drastically.
you know,
IV
what we're doing
is
here
really
is,
high,
is
so
novel, and we're
unless
trying
you
to
are in a
push
spread zone,
the
in
industry
money,
in that
you
direction.
may
So
be
you know,
kinda
we're
losing.
presenting a model here that anyone can follow.
Yeah, in fact, if there's anything that you guys want to comment on, feel free
Yeah,
to
Linda
step
too,
forward
bro.
and say
What
something.
I think the key is to be smart
like
about
a
your
YouTube-
chemistry choices,
Yeah, you-
materials choices.
Talk louder.
Linda too.
Yeah, if you're smart about your
Yeah,
materials
yeah.
choices, the spice will continue to flow.
Yeah.
You don't need to use
Calls and
the same
parents
kind
also.
everywhere. And if you,
Yeah.
it's about strategically planning it out. And for miners, I think we are incentivizing them quite a bit to ramp up their production.
Yeah, and actually we had good calls. Like they're all motivated. I think that they've been sort of sitting back, being like, "Are you going to grow like crazy?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're going to grow like crazy." And then I think this indicates we're going to grow like crazy, and that's what the miners want to hear. And then they'll go make the investments.
Hello, Elon. This is Ben Limpick. I'm a musician. I was wondering, does Tesla have any future plans to make partnerships with music companies like it has done with Tencent Games or things like that for you guys to actually kind of expand your services for artists and other types of creative people to get involved in, you know, producing content that can be part of the Tesla ecosystem, or so other people that do creative things can get involved with you guys?
Well, we don't. We haven't really thought about that much, but I suppose it's probably something we should think about. We will be providing a title on Teslas. So you know, we're providing more music sources that people can choose from, and generally trying to improve the entertainment experience in the cars. And I think actually, as we go to a more autonomous future, the importance of entertainment and productivity will become greater and greater. I mean, to the degree that if you're just basically sitting in your car, the car is fully autonomous and driving somewhere. It's sort of like being the car is essentially your chauffeur, and then the things that become important are, okay, well, let's have good entertainment, and if you want to do some productivity stuff, then that actually starts to become much more important because you're no longer spending your attention driving the car. So it will be extremely important in the future.
Should we do some of the say.com questions? Okay. Should we do the second one?
Yeah, the first one I think we already answered. Like if we're able to make enough sales, which we'll try to do, or we will supply other companies. It's definitely not an intentional effort to keep the sales to ourselves. If we can make enough for other companies, we will supply them. And we're trying to do the right thing for advancing the sustainable energy, whatever that is. So vehicle to grid, we get asked that a lot. I think one thing that's important to note is the vehicle to grid. It doesn't, unless you have a power cutoff. Like you need to cut off your main supply to the grid. Otherwise, if you lose power in your house, you'll basically just backflow energy to the grid. So just having a reversal in the power flow does not actually keep the lights on. You need a whole separate system to cut off power to the grid. And I think there's also the case that people really want the freedom to be able to drive and to charge at their house. And it's obviously really problematic if you get to morning and your car, instead of being charged, it discharged into the house, and then you're sort of, okay, now I can either drive or use the battery to power my house. I think it's actually going to be better for people's freedom of action to have a power wall and a car separate. And then it's everything works. And you add that, you basically combine that with solar, either solar retrofit or solar glass
Steve,
roof.
You need to have a patience. Don't put
and
everything in
local
one
battery
basket.
storage, so you basically become
I was
your own
telling
utility.
everybody from
and then
long time ago.
the car is can be charged also with solar. I think that's like the stuff that works. That said, we can certainly do vehicle to grid. And I think we could basically enable that with software in Europe or something, right?
Yeah. We are future generations of power electronics. We will be able to do this more or less everywhere from a energy market participation perspective. But yeah, from a backing up the house, and it just so happens that the way the North American connectors are on all the cars in North America, it doesn't matter whether it's the Tesla connector or the connector that the other vehicles have, doesn't actually support powering your home. It's unfortunate. So you'd need an additional hardware to do that. But yeah, in the future, all versions of our vehicles will be able to at least do bidirectional power flow for the purposes of energy market participation. But even for that, it's important to remember that your car isn't plugged in 24/7. So it's kind of an unpredictable resource for the grid. It'll have a value, but it's not the same as a stationary battery pack.
Yeah, honestly, a vehicle to grid sounds good, but I think actually has a much lower utility than people think. I think very, very few people would actually use vehicle to grid, and we actually had that with the original Roadster. We had vehicle to grid capabilities. Nobody used it.
Yeah. How do we find the engineers to do everything we're saying?
How do we find the engineers to do all these things? I guess we recruit a lot of engineers from all parts of the world. I think Tesla has a good reputation for doing exciting engineering, and that tends to attract a lot of the top engineers in the world because they know that their efforts at Tesla will really serve the greater good, and we're super hardcore about engineering. Tesla is first and foremost an engineering company. It's hardcore engineering is what we do. The sheer amount of hardcore engineering done at Tesla is insane. And if you look at, say, there's various surveys done of engineering schools, where do you want to go? What's your top choices? And actually, the top two choices last few years have been Tesla and SpaceX.
As Trader just says.
So sometimes it's Tesla first, sometimes SpaceX first, but those are the two top ones.
Yeah, I mean, if you are motivated to solve some of these problems, which are the hardest problems in the world to solve, that really fundamentally enable the future we all need, please reach out.
Yeah, and
help us work on these problems.
Absolutely, and like we said, the battle is far from over. Less than 1% of the global automotive fleet has been converted to electric, and even maybe less than 0.1% of stationary storage has been done. So stationary storage has barely begun. Converting the global vehicle fleet to electric has barely begun. So there's still a massive amount of engineering work to be done at Tesla and other companies to accelerate this transition to sustainability.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
This is Jordan from Mark Asset Management. So you've talked about the importance of the factory, and you've mentioned the ground-up design process and a lot of the new things that you're going to be doing or started to do in Shanghai, Berlin, and Austin.
Right.
Can you just maybe help us understand and quantify how financially meaningful all of those improvements will be? And then given what you're trying to accomplish as a company, is it fair to assume that the vast majority of improvement will be given back to the customer in the form of lower prices?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly we will try to give back as much as possible to the customers. It's not like, it's not like Tesla's profitability is crazy high. Our average profitability for the last 4 quarters is maybe 1%. So just to be clear, it's not like, we're minting money. Our valuation makes it seem like we are, but we're not. So we do want to try to make the price as competitive as we can without losing money. And if you lose money, then if you keep losing money, you'll just die. So we have to. This thing called profit is just we need to bring in more money than we spend. Otherwise, we're dead. So.
But affordability is key to how we scale,
Yeah.
right? The demand goes nonlinear as you reduce the price of the car.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to sort of separate the difference between affordability and value for money, or desirability of the product. So, for a lot of people, they want to buy a Tesla, they simply don't have enough money. We could make the car infinitely desirable, but if somebody does not have enough money, they can't buy it. Sometimes, people, kind of forget this. It's like, it's like, people have to have enough money to buy the car, and just making a car super desirable but expensive does not mean they can afford it. So it's absolutely critical that we make cars that people can actually afford. Yeah. So we should
over
go
here
some of these things. Just scroll down or something. Oh.
When do you expect Tesla vehicles to beat ICE vehicles on initial purchase price? I think a way to answer that question is, in the classes of vehicles we sell today, we're already doing that.
Yeah, we're already pretty close. And then factoring in total cost of ownership, the fact that electric vehicles require much less servicing, and are way cheaper to run.
What is this website?
When you look at total cost of ownership, and you can obviously lease a car. So if you just lease a car or get a loan for a car, you've got your sort of monthly payment, and then your cost for either gasoline or electricity, and your cost of servicing, and the fully considered cost of an electric car is much less than a gasoline car of the same nominal purchase price. I mean, that said, and maybe on the order of 3 years, when we can do a lower cost car, like a $25,000 car, I think that will be basically on par, maybe slightly better than a comparable gasoline car. So I think maybe it's on the order of 3 years-ish.
How have the technology advancements and increased vertical integration of battery manufacturing
that's the
influenced your
problem,
ability
right?
to improve the
Investor, they
environmental and
want
social
right
impact of the
now.
supply
So
chain?
3 years, they don't like it.
And I think, yeah.
I think we sort of have said that already.
Yeah.
Do you have some ability to scroll through this? Just scroll away.
So Angel, they're just talking about when they're gonna
we covered
make
recycling.
$25,000 cars.
Just scroll until we've got stuff that we haven't covered.
Yeah, we should watch movie together, guys. What do you guys think? I should do some movie
we
night.
definitely covered that top
Yeah,
one.
a lot of the things we've already answered, I think.
Covered that.
Yeah.
That
Just
one.
get some movie of Amazon or Netflix, and we all should Netflix and chill.
I think we literally just answered that.
Yeah. Oh, I saw a
We
cathode
talk
durability
about
question.
stock.
Let's go to that one. Go down, go down, go down. Good
I'm in
technical
Atlanta
question.
right now, Trader. And yeah. Where are you from? I mean,
How are
where
you
at
going
right
to
now?
address the cathode
I'm originally
durability
from
and cost
Nepal.
environmental
If
impact
that's what you're
trifecta?
asking, but
Is this something you're going to leave the upstream supply chain to solve? No, I think we tried to answer that directly. I mean, we really
yeah,
are
I'm from
looking
the Bronx, Angel.
at not just what happens in the cathode facility, but currently
Yeah, this
outside
looks
the
like a
cathode
horror
facility
show,
that should
huh?
really be inside, and removing processes that shouldn't have been there in the first place, and the use of reagents
Yes,
that
sir. Nepal.
are just costly and not necessary, and removing
I
a
think
bunch
there's a
of
few people from
wastewater
Nepal
the
here
process.
too.
Guys, is there anything you want to add to? Maybe we could
Cool.
go through everyone and maybe say what you're doing and say a few words. I don't know.
Sure. I just want to reiterate the fact that this is a massive problem.
Massive problem.
And it seems like Tesla's on its way and ahead, but we need everybody's help because it's everybody's planet, and we're not going to get to 20 terawatt-hours by ourselves. So please think about this carefully as it affects everybody. So let's get on it.
And obviously, if you care about
is it
solving
293?
sustainability and doing hardcore engineering, definitely come work at Tesla.
Yeah, we went through a couple of the manufacturing improvements, and
Man.
it kind of looks easy when you
Tesla
put together a nice
just
slide deck,
went like
but
$30.
the challenges are like this. It's super challenging when you take materials out of the process. When you integrate processes together, you have to do a lot of things at once, and that's like this immense engineering challenge. And so to appreciate that,
you need, like, to get through this, we need, like, the best engineers we've got. And we've got this awesome team. I just want to shout out also to all of our team watching, like, you guys are awesome. Like, you absolutely kicked ass putting this together. And, yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Tesla team. Totally agree.
Yeah, that's it. Like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Rodney Westmoreland, managing the construction here at Tesla. What I would like to say is, one, shout out to the team. The team has been working effortlessly. A very, very tough project here for 24 hours a day, it seems like, around the clock to have this complete.
Yeah, The Big Short. That's one of the big
The thing that
movies.
sets us apart from a lot of other construction. Yeah, we have a construction company here. The thing that sets us apart is that we're integrated in the manufacturing process. So every detail that comes from Drew's mouth is directly implicated into the system that we're building. That way, what would typically take 3 or 4 months to create a specification, our design team is working right with the manufacturing team to allow us to speed that process up tremendously. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a important part of the vertically integrated approach is to be able to design the factory around the equipment, in fact, together with the equipment, so that you can build the factory at lower cost and more quickly.
Yeah, I'm Scott. I focus on cell design. I think it's hard to put into words how inspiring this is. I've been at it a long time with Tesla, and
yeah,
I really hope others do join us.
Since when, Scott?
Since 2005.
Yes.
With many of you, but thank you. You know, yeah, year before Drew, but who's keeping track? But I'm really stoked at what the team's been able to accomplish over the last, short period of time, about a year. It's been really an incredible transformation. I mean, hopefully what we've shown you inspires you to join us or join somebody else in the effort. And I couldn't think of a greater, more intelligent, more hardworking team to be working on with this problem.
Hi, Peter. I lead the manufacturing improvement team. And I guess the point that I would like to make is manufacturing improvements is like the accelerator. So, like, you think about the execution that Rodney talked about in terms of how fast we've been able to put together this factory, which is amazing and something that's been really incredible to be a part of. That's not enough. What we need to do is improve the manufacturing technology. That's the real accelerator.
Yeah,
and that's what we're really focused on. Elon talks about it all the time, that really going and improving that system is what will enable us to get to the scale and the cost that we need. And then the other point that I would make is on the recruiting side. Like,
Elon really
it doesn't
doesn't
matter
care
if you know about batteries.
Tesla stock. I
If
don't
you come
think
from
he cares
any
much
industry,
about it.
you can
I mean,
do
he
something
wanted to do
fantastic
good,
in
but
the
yeah.
work that we're doing. We talk to people from industries that you wouldn't imagine. Like, I talked to a guy who makes golf balls, and he has stuff which is really impactful for what we're doing. So, if you're in any industry and you want to be, impactful here, like, come join us. It'd be great.
Hi, excuse me. Hi, I'm Tony. I've been working in lithium and cathode materials for almost 23 years now, and this is the most growth I've seen in a company. I've been here a little over a year and a half. We're hiring amazing people that are allowing us to leverage technology that most of the industry is struggling to achieve. So to answer the question, how are we going to do this? We are really advancing the materials manufacturing for cathodes and for lithium beyond what has been accomplished in the previous 20 years.
It's exciting.
Yeah, my name's Turner. Work closely with the team. I've worked a lot with everyone here, and on the cathode and upstream materials side, it's really important that everyone understand that this growth is coming. This growth is real. We are going to make all of these batteries, and everyone needs to grow with us. The entire supply chain needs to grow with us. And if you have an idea that simplifies anything in the supply chain, come talk to us, come work with us, and let's do it.
Any existing specification is wrong. Any existing manufacturing method is wrong. Process equipment, it's wrong. It's just a question of how wrong.
Yes.
Quote
Exactly.
Elon Musk.
Yes, exactly. We're wrong. Just a question of how wrong. Just try to be less wrong.
So tell us how we're wrong and how we could do it better so that we can accelerate and improve as fast as possible.
All right. Well, I guess thank you everyone for coming. I hope you liked the presentation. Very exciting future ahead. We're going to work our damnedest to transition the world to sustainable energy as quickly as possible. And your support and help is key to that success. So thanks again. Super appreciated. And look forward to the next event. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's about it. Well, their honking did not work much well for stock, so I guess the event is kind of done, but we can talk about anything you guys want to talk, but that's what pretty much for the event. So yeah, I mean, Tesla Battery Day is done. I mean, I was talking some math and where we are at 406, so yeah, we are at 406, around 405, 406. Is that even real? I don't know. But pretty much, yeah, everybody is a bag holder, and yeah, I think we're at like we'll just Google. Yeah, 292. Is it like stopped after this? Yeah. So pretty much we see, that's one thing though, right? A lot of people say like, hey, I'm in the money, why I'm not max profit? The thing is, like, you have expiration and this can happen, right? So you were in the money. Let's say I have called like 397 to 420, 424. Those are not in the money anyway. Well, one leg maybe, but maybe not. Yeah. So those are not in the money. So basically those are junk kinda, unless we move up. But that's what happens all the time. So yeah. I mean, it can happen to anybody. It happens all the time. But the thing which moves up 5-7% can move down same too. So that's a lot of percentage off for Tesla though, like up down 6% almost, now 7%. I don't know. The thing was, like, I'll tell you what my plan was. Like, I'm not holding a lot, I have like a little bit, but my plan was to sell today before the event. But Musk kind of fucked it by tweeting yesterday. He tweeted so many shit, so everything, I mean, he's a great guy, but do you have Danny's number? 1-800 Danny. Yeah, not everyone was the president. A lot of people were reading the news. Okay, cool. I know somebody who yellow their lives. Oh, yeah, you should never do that yellow. Yeah. Eddie, the puts too. I don't know when you got in. Like, if you got it like 440, probably you're fine. But if you got in like around, like 420, and depend where you got it, so it could be kind of hard too. Yeah, Yam Yam always a screw. Yeah. All bag holder kind of come and maybe talk, and we do our thing. Yeah, Angelica. Yeah, you can jump in. She's not gonna reply probably, but yeah. That's the thing, Jared. Like, yeah, you cannot trade with emotions. When you get emotions and everything, so the thing is, like, everybody getting in FOMO, and boom, So it's 93, man. 94.49. Maybe I'll be happy if we recover to maybe like 410, 420, 415. Can happen. It's Tesla again, but the thing is, think about it, right? There was whole thing about this event, right? It's done now. I mean, you need to excited about something else. So they do have there's like numbers and other things, like there's sales numbers. So what is it? The battery deliveries to rise. Tesla deliveries to rise in 2020. Well, that's a 30%. So I think they have a 90. So yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's what happens. Like it's cause investor they're looking right now. So we are kind of recovering. So 395, 397. So hopefully we will uh, wait till I know instant New York City all Robinhooders will just keep buying and will be up. Yeah, yeah. I don't think his tweet gonna pump that much now. I doubt it, but yeah, let's see. Let's see. So if you open like 424, 425, that would be pretty good for if somebody's holding for 420. Yeah. Also, we are 108 people. So if you guys have not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe, follow. Please do that. And I have a lot of video, a lot of educational video, not about Tesla, but about trend line, support, resistance, when to get in, when to get out, and I'm always adding more content. So yeah. But this has been, yeah, it can pop up. It can pop up. Yeah, but again, like we need to pop up really high if we are out the money. If you are like 410, 420, you will be fine. But if not, yeah. Hey, Eri, no, I mean, nothing against Robinhood. I use Robinhood too. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's easy. I like their design though. It's simple, right? Not, but their execution is kind of crappy, and some of the things are not great. But yeah, yeah. But never have that thing though. When something is down, 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 sometimes it just goes like more down, you know. Maybe you can sell puts. Those are good. They pay good money. But puts probably not gonna pay much tomorrow. Yeah, 465, 500 will be really, really awesome. Yeah. Now I think people don't wanna do anything in Tesla. Yeah. Yeah, I think the problem is big investor has to come. Like a small investor cannot move the needle, you know. What about Amazon? What do you want to talk about Amazon? That's my TikTok. If you want to follow me in TikTok, I have a lot of small videos. I may go live like maybe in TikTok next week or something. I wanna be like 5K or 10K follower, then I wanna go live. Yeah, that's true. At the end, like you need those hedge fund, right? The whatever sell off happened, like this is not us. This is like hedge funds. Like retail is like whatever, you know, like they'll probably buy. Yeah. Yeah, we are at 397, so it's kind of there, but yeah. But yeah, I was talking about something good though. I mean, I'll tell you what. One thing I've realized, like if you try to teach some people good, they don't want it. But if somebody says like, "Oh, boom, I'll teach you like make 100% return every trade," I mean, everyone will listen, and what they end up is they're gonna lose it, right? So, I mean, think about it, right? I mean, Warren Buffett made 10-20% a year. That's what he made. I mean, and he's a billionaire, so he doesn't do crazy stocks. I mean, I guess he did snow, but he got it like 60-70 bucks. So he is like 4 times ahead of everybody. But the point was like, if you have 10K, again, like, don't shoot for the star. If you have 10K, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 10K. And nobody win all. Make sure, like, let's say if you lose 50% of the time, and you probably, like, if you are in trade, you probably notice like you may be already winning 50% of the time, you are losing 50. So what do? Don't aim for like rocket, aim for a car right now. So we are aiming like 20 to 30%. Let's say we just mid, right? We'll ride it 25%. We'll sell it straight up. If you are up 25%, don't take a risk, just cash it out. So that means $250 a trade times 5. That's 75, 750. That's your winner, right? But you also losing 5 trade. So how much you losing? You're losing 10%. So 5 trade will be $500, right? So if you do that 5, so you make like 250. So if you are doing that weekly, if you are making 250 weekly in a month, that's 1K. 1K with 10,000 a month is great. If you can consistently do that, you don't need to do anything. Literally, think about it. Like, you can make 1K in a month, keep adding it. Next you have 11, so you'll have maybe 1100, right? Keep repeating it. And the thing is, like, whenever something goes wrong, it's not gonna go really bad. Reset it. So don't aim for really high numbers. Aim for something realistic number. A lot of people I see is like they are aiming for literally, like, they want to make like 100,000, 200,000. So doesn't end well that much, but yeah. So be back 700 at 7 you'll get us back into double digit by the end of the week at 705 with. Okay. Okay, so all the pump and dumps, it is time to sell and keep your profit. Crowd is still doing well today. Yeah, crowd is pretty, like, it doesn't move. Yeah, crowd is, it's pretty good. Prime week is October. Bull chapter. Apple is a new iPhone mid. Be back 705. He will get back us to. Okay. I got into Amazon yesterday before close and sold today before close. That's a good trade actually. Amazon, like, yesterday was kind of down. What did Bill Gates do? I don't know. Is he not buying Tesla? I highly doubt to be true, Linda. I highly doubt we'll see 250 tomorrow, but I can definitely see like buyers coming in and maybe raising to 420. But again, at the end, like, we need retail. No, retail won't move much. We need like big buyers. Yeah. I hope we close at 3 so it hits support and everyone buys the dip tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Yeah, all pace pretty much. Exactly what trader says. Consistency is the key. Vroom is, they don't make electric, right? Vroom is just like they are the reseller. They just sell cars. I don't think Vroom makes I mean, Vroom is I think it's just a Carvana, computer for Carvana. I don't think Vroom makes anything like that. Yeah, exactly. Like a Carvana, they sell used cars. So we had Carvana. I think, yeah. Carvana, literally, man. Carvana. I was trading this stock from like 40s and 50s. If you look at like this March, they were like $30, man. Like what? Yeah, they were 25, not even 30. So the low was, oh wow. Low was $22. Jesus Christ. Man. $22 Carvana. They were like, even they were up like $100, but they dumped pretty hard to $22. Oh, did they have earning today? What was this about? Huh. Did they earn? Oh no, not earning. That's surprising. They literally should be some news. I didn't see that, but yeah, I was looking at room VRM, right? Yeah. Look at that. I think somebody brought up this morning, and perfect resistance, perfect support right here, right? It went boom, then went down, boom. Yesterday would have been like really great day to buy actually, like kinda put your stop loss right here if it rejects, and man, it just boom kind of today. You don't even need to wait like 44 to today we close at 53. Wow. So we opened at 50, close at 53, went up to 50, almost 55. Jesus. So within one day, I don't know, something, there should be some news, or maybe it's just the more corona kind of coming up, so that's what happening. But yeah. So yeah, everybody, a lot of people's burn down in a herds. Yeah, that's why I mean, investing, you should just invest in a solid company who have good history, you know. Oh yeah, I think a lot of people's Nike had a really great earnings, and they are like all-time high, I think, if they keep up. Wow, they're like 131. Jesus Christ. So they went down 12. Oh my God. They were 116, and now they are like one. Oh, wow. Nike is doing great. Oh, they already did the earning. That's why they are up after hours. I think they beat the earnings. They had pretty good number. But the problem is like if you just got the options, it will be really expensive. But if you got a spread, you should be fine. Yeah, if you got a good spread, it could be really good. But oh well. So I mean, sad news is if you have like 590, 600 spreads expiring this week, those will just go zero. No, trader, I don't use spread much actually. I do in the money calls if I'm really bullish. I may swing spread. I pretty much use everything, but I'll just buy straight calls more than a spread if I'm really positive about it. 219, 220 for Carvana. That's good for you. Yeah, Nike is 130. Yeah, that's right. I'm kind of making like I'm it's work in progress. So if you want, just ping me. Maybe I'll just give you early access or whatever. But it's still working on it. But I'm working on a lot of the strategy like butterfly and when to buy butter. There are lot of people just okay, butterfly is this, right? You can find it, but a lot of people don't explain when do you buy that, what do you look for to buy in butterfly and things like that. So I'm gonna cover those, and those are really good. You bought it, like those are the consistent strategy to win. Yeah, I think Costco has this this week as well. So day after tomorrow. So if I'm day trading, I may get weekly, right? Because I'm not holding out, I'm just getting out if I'm pretty sure, doesn't matter. But if you're holding overnight, I'll just go at least like 2-3 weeks out. I mean, depending, right? What's my thesis? If I'm buying the dip and hoping like it's gonna go up in a month, of course I'm gonna get 2 months, but I'm just expecting something for, yeah. Oh yeah, I like trading breakouts too. That's one of my favorite. I like breakout with good volume. And actually, like when if you guys come in my live, I was telling workhorse. Look at workhorse. Like I probably have that right here. Is it workhorse? Yeah. See, that was a breakout. Like it was all-time high. That was like right here, right, and also made a nice curve. But more than that, I was looking at the breakout of this, and it literally like right here it broke out. Other things you have to do is like give it a little bit of room, right? Stop loss right here maybe. So breakout, also look at the volume, right? It's like this was a massive volume come in, then breakout, it was pretty good volume than the before too. Then we had a red day, then we have green, and boom boom boom, right? Even if you not enter here, you can just enter here, and I think I sold it somewhere around here. Same thing with the DKNG. I think the chart is already, I mean, I didn't even, yeah, see, that was the, look at that. Consolidation, 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 slowly curling up and breakout. And look at this. They had a news too and volume, and literally from 45 to 55 within like 5 days, right? And I usually sell out right around here. Like I'm just saying right around, like if I see any weakness, I'll just sell out. I don't, cause it can go up, but it can go down too. So I just like to get out. I like to save. And what was that? Workhorse, DKNG. Tesla was also breakout. The one of my best trade ever was. This was in, no, oh, I think this was right here. Yeah, right here when we got in. Yeah, that was 2, so 5. Yeah, that was 10.27. It was before the split when Tesla was around 10, and it was curling up here really well, and I just saw it break out right here. And I think they had some news, yeah, I think leaked news of a good delivery number, and within the few session it just went boom boom boom. I sold it somewhere around here, but that was like one of the best trade. But yeah, it fails too, but if you kind of have a good volume, some news and things like that, it does really well. BA is like doing really bad. It's holding this one, but man, it needs like that freaking news. Okay. So all we have to do is in the money calls before earning, catalyst 2-3 weeks out. Again, Eddie, right? A lot depends, right? So one thing I don't know why you guys are not getting it. In the money doesn't mean like, so basically I'll show you real live example, right? So if you look at what do you call Robinhood, I'm gonna do Nike NKE, right? Okay, this is Nike, which is like this, right? So the option price will be a little bit whacked up, but so what you are saying, like Nike was like what for like 118. So if you go here, you're saying now here, but when we were there, oh wow, option was really cheap though. Wow. Huh. Nike was, I guess, 14, 15, but this is good money though, right? If you got 18, all you need is like $2.78 to break even, but it's like almost 10. That's 1,000, 2,000. That's a not much, but so it was 18, right? So basically, if you even get in the money, let's say 15, 20, so you're buying call 15, selling call 20. So your total cost is 230, right, to make. So why it is, again, if it goes up, it's again today it did it earn. Like earning doesn't mean like every earning will they blow out and they come down to, right? Like uh, Zoom really had a great earning, but if you look at like what do you call Docu, they had good earnings, did not like work. They had good earnings, but kind of crap out. So literally, why you are getting 230 is basically it's half the price, right? So your delta is pretty much, so in the money has delta like 41. So basically there's 41% chance that it will be in the money. That's why, that's what it is basically. So when you are in the middle, right at the money, it will be 0.50. That means it can be in the money or at the money by expiration. That's what it is. So for this one, it can be or cannot be. That's why your cost is 50 and your reward is 52. So that's how they're priced. But yeah, if you are right, I mean, if you are right, then yeah, you will make 250 or a little bit more. But yeah, if you had Tesla, that would be great. Yeah, that's true, Krish. You are right. The Tesla's P is really high. Today is the day to tease all people. Keep asking yes about lotto play, then put yeah. I think a lot of people, right? I mean, everybody wants like, what's the lotto play? I wanna do lotto play and lotto play, right? The lotto plays are lotto play. They don't work all the time. And the other thing is like people need to know take profit. You guys were probably, if you got in like at right time, you probably got in profit, but a lot of people did not take in profit. I had 2 or 3 lotto play I sold yesterday. I got in at like 100 and I sold it like almost 300. So I don't even do lotto much, but I just got in that one. Just it's a lotto kind of. I took a huge hit from now. Focus on realistic things. Yeah. Do you think Zoom is too expensive? So Alpesh, Zoom is expensive for long term, for short term, but they're growing crazy, right? So I would not say, I would not buy it like if you are planning to just do long term. But in the short term, I think they are really bullish. They are very strong. So you don't short those. They are very strong. Tesla 3. It could. Apple is the one pissing me off. Any breakout you are watching for? I was looking at this, but it kind of dropped. Like I was kind of looking like this orally, but it dropped like so. It's kind of lost all the momentum. But look at this, it was just consolidating here, kind of coming back and coming back. I was kind of looking at breakout. It would probably had broke out too, but the problem was like we had just huge tech sell off, then it just literally died. So whenever you have this coming in, the stock has the mojo, right? It's literally, it tried multiple times trying to break out. So I would probably enter at all-time high of like 487, 88 with good volume, but it died. So it's not good. So I kind of keep looking. So I have not found anything good, but yeah. So this is not really a like a momentum stocks. It's a good value stock, but I was looking for a breakout. This you may not get a huge, but you can easily make 20-30%, and these are very safe too, but it's really in the downside. So I'm like, no, not now. Okay, Facebook looks good. Like after you are trading right now is 3. Is it better to get out now to retain profit? Don't be a victim pump and dump scheme. If you are in option, you cannot get in right now. I mean, most people here are doing options. So if you are in stock, you can actually. Myrna. I haven't looked at that thing. Not a solid base. $157 looks like a good resistance, and 73. I mean resistance, it's 70, around 73 area. I would say 70, 74 area. So it looks like we kind of went downtrend, kind of finished up in weekly. So if you look at daily, kind of in an uptrend curling. So if you hold this, so that's good support right around here in 66. If you hold this, we can go to 73. But again, these news need news, you know. These news, lot of news. Tesla is pretty messed up, but yeah. Oh, Asana is a pretty okay. Good to know. Good RX and Asana. Asana is pretty decent, but I hope they don't overprice like snow. I'm sleepy now, guys. Okay. Nothing wrong with two account. I have like pretty much, I have account in everything. I had in TD, I have Tasty, I have Robinhood, I have Webull. I like Webull. Like it's pretty, you can do after hour trading, before trading and everything. And if you guys are not in Webull, I have a link down below. If you deposit $100, they give you 2 free stock. They also give me 2 free stock, so good for both. But they also give you like stock which are worth like $12 to $200. So if you get lucky, you can get like $50, $60 stock for free. But I do have others too. Like I have Tasty, I have Thinkorswim, I have E-Trade. Thank you guys, I really appreciate it. And yeah. I don't know what's happening, but people are sending me messages like we received the order to close, and their debit spread is closing at 0 per debit spread. So God knows, I don't know. Alright guys, thank you very much. If you have not, if you guys are new, please do subscribe, and I'll probably come online tomorrow, and day after tomorrow. I'm not gonna be online Friday, but I'll be online tomorrow and we can talk. But yeah, if you have not, don't forget to like and subscribe. Other than that, good night, have a great day, and don't stress too much. Yeah, money comes and go. I mean, everybody lost, so that's okay. So next